Panther Nation podcast. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, cut it. Cut right. And I would like to introduce one of the hottest podcasts in Carolina history. Let's go. Yeah. Talk less chat. We got time to chop it up. Talking analytics and fantasy draft. You know what's up. Panther Nation representing. Cause this is where we talk that. Talk that's so incredible. Make them rewind that talk back. Pause. Talking Panthers football, we discussing it all. On and off the field, you know exactly who to call. You know we the #1 podcast. Competition is non-existent, you need to stop that. Pause. It's an honor to be a Panther fan, pause. At Bank of America, that is where we ball. Coming to the jungle, then you gonna feel the pause. Winning the trophy for the city, it is the call. Black, white, and blue, we going Carolina strong. And this is the conversation where everyone belongs. Discussing all the numbers and topics, you know we got it. We the hottest podcast, and we poppin', let's go.
Yo, what's good, fam? Welcome to PNP. It is Rashad and Dave, and it is going down. It's a lot of stuff popping right now.
Oh, now you're too good to cuss nowadays? You're too good to cuss nowadays? That's where we're at?
Let's wait till we get at least get an hour, past the 9 o'clock hour, Dave, before I start cussing, man.
Whatever, man. The kids should be in bed anyway. Y'all should be better parents, which y'all should be. Y'all need to be better parents. Y'all kids should be in bed
Judgment?
Right now.
Judgment?
I'm just saying.
Judgment?
Look, man. I'm just saying. Call a spade, man.
Yeah, man. So listen, it's cracking day. We got 215 people watching already, dog. So it's lit. It's a lot going on. A lot of free agent signings going down. It's some teams getting better. The Jaguars is signing every damn body. I mean, they going nuts right now. I think they just picked up Zay Jones too, if I'm not mistaken. That just went down. But yeah, it's crazy. It's going down. A lot is happening. And of course, we will discuss Deshaun Watson. We're going to have some special guests come on a little bit later, I hope. If not, we'll open it up to the floor and let you all kind of voice your opinion on Deshaun Watson. So first, before we get into all that, we're going to talk about the new signings. We're going to talk about everything, and then we'll get into that, the Deshaun Watson debate a little bit later. Okay, Dave, now before we get into this, how was your weekend, bro?
Oh, it was good, man. I mean, it was a pretty simple weekend this weekend. Nothing too crazy. My kids were here this weekend, so we kind of chilled out. Nothing too extravagant. I know you had a crazy weekend with your kids. So
I did. I had a crazy weekend. I was up in Durham with my daughters. We had my youngest daughter had her first dance competition on this weekend, and they cleaned up. So shout out to them. Dance dad. I'm like the ultimate dance dad. Yo, it's lit. So I had a good time.
Hashtag dance dad, yo. Hashtag dance
Easy.
Dad, bro.
Easy work. Okay, so Dave, any other topics on your weekend before we get into this stuff?
Nah, man, it was a pretty chill weekend, Friday, man, we had another employee that left, so that whole Great Resignation thing is still rolling in my line of work, unfortunately. But other than that, so it was a good time though. Can't complain.
Yep. All right. So before we get into this, man, we got to welcome one of our special guests. We got JJ from Panthers Culture. What's good, brother?
What's going on, man?
Can you hear us? JJ, can you hear us? What's good, bro?
Can't hear.
Oh, he can't hear. You can't hear us?
We can hear you. We just heard you.
Yeah, we can hear you. Hold on.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, sir.
I can't hear you at all.
It's interesting, man. You might want to check. Hold on.
Check your mic settings because they can hear you.
It's not the mic. It's it's probably his audio.
That's what I'm saying. Check the audio settings. Excuse me.
Check the speakers. Hold on 1 second. Can you hear us now?
Disconnect and try to reconnect again.
Okay,
All
perfect.
Right, hold on.
All right. So yeah, we'll get JJ in here. He's one of our special guests. And while we're pulling that up, Dave, can you give us a little bit of Underdog Fantasy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we got about 300 people watching, so shout out to Underdog Fantasy. You know what I'm saying? This is the place where you can do your pick five. If you checked out over the weekend, man, they had a special pick 'em where it was, I believe it was the Duke game. There was a player on Duke's team. They only had to score a point. Yeah, they only had to score a point, and you would win that portion of the pick 'em. But if you get 3 right, you can win up to 6 times your money. If you get 5 right, you can win up to 20 times your money. And they're still doing best ball drafts. So if you're into that, they're doing it pre-draft. They'll probably do more post-draft once you have an idea what the depth charts are. And best ball is basically as you draft your team. Football, baseball, but particularly in football is what I normally do. And you can check out and it picks the best players for you each week. You ain't really got to manage it. You just got to draft your team and go from there. And they typically you can win some legitimate money. But like I said, the most popular thing that I do is the pick'ems, and you can win up to 20x and 20 times your money. And it's not just NFL, not a baseball season's rolling around. You could do it in baseball. You still can get it popping in the NBA. I know they're gonna do it for March Madness with college basketball. So check out Underdog Fantasy. So go to underdogfantasy.com, sign up for an account, and use the code PNP. It really helps out the channel. Once again, underdogfantasy.com and use the code PNP.
Shout out to Noli for the super chat. And then shout out to Travis for the super chat as well. He said he poured up some Basil Hayden. Shout out to you, bro, with the Basil Hayden. That's that vibe. That toast is where it's at. I'm down with the toast, Basil Hayden. Shout out to you. RJ with Chargers still locking in. Yeah, man. Chargers they're another team that's having a great Daquan Jones to the Bills. It's just a lot going on, man. RJ Harrison Phillips to Philadelphia. It's a lot going on right now. Or excuse me, Minnesota. A lot going on. JJ, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so officially let's welcome JJ from Panthers Culture to the stream. What's up, brother?
What's up, y'all, man? It's a pleasure to be back with you guys, man.
Absolutely. So real quick, we're gonna quickly go through before we get into the whole Deshaun Watson situation, we're gonna go through some of the free agents moves that have occurred so far. And this one happened a little bit earlier last week, so we'll talk about this real quick. We did restructure Pat Elflein, which freed up $2.5 million. It caught me off surprise here because, again, restructures, you typically restructure guys that are going to be part of your long-term plan. And Elflein was a bit of a surprise for the amount of money that we saved. I don't know if I would have did that because you're pushing more money to the future. His cap hit next year is like $7 million, which is kind of crazy. So, again, if he pans out, great. But if he underperforms, you're looking at a $7 million cap hit next year, and it's kind of counterintuitive for an iffy guy. So that's just my opinion. Any thoughts on Pat Elflein? Anyone else? Dave, JJ?
I'll go since Dave.
I guess
Pat,
he can play center, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think because they know that he can play center. Currently, they don't have one, so I think he's like an insurance policy for the center position. And although he sucks at left guard, where they tried him out at, I think they just see him as a depth piece, right? It's an expensive depth piece, but they know they can get starting snaps out of him at center, and they know that they can pull him in at left guard or right guard if they need to. Even if he gets manhandled, they know they can put him in the game.
Yeah,
that's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, it's not terrible. Again, it's $2.5 million. It's not a lot. We're not talking about a life-altering contract. It's just that I hate that, I like reserving those restructures for guys that are part of the long-term plan, and I just don't know if he's fit that mold just yet. That's just my opinion.
Bro, you like me. You like to see bad contracts die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm 100% with you, but I think it's one of those things where I believe is it who's the front office guy? Kevin Stewart is what's my man's name? Pat Stewart. Is it Stewart?
The cap guy.
No,
yes.
I'm not talking about that guy. I forget Stewart's position. The one that came from Philly.
Yeah, they just changed his role, so I don't know exactly what his title is right now.
I don't know what this new role is, but I know that he's an Ohio State dude. And so when I saw him bring in Elflein, I think it was that connection back to Ohio State. He loves Ohio State guys, just like when they brought on Michael Jordan. I believe Jordan was Ohio State too. And when they signed Elflein, I believe they signed him for what, a 3-year deal?
3-year deal, yep.
So I just think it's one of those dudes where I think they like the dude. They always talk about his toughness. Matt Rule talked about his toughness, even though he got manhandled every week. And I just believe that he's one of the guys that they're going to keep around regardless. So easy to move around money with this contract.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world to happen. I just don't think I would have done it for Elflein. Moving on. Morgan Fox. Morgan Fox was cut. A bit of a surprise to me. Morgan Fox was a guy that we spoken to on this podcast. We had him on the show. Cool dude. Did not allow us to talk bad about Phil Snow. And it's kind of crazy. I mean, we saved $2.5 million by cutting him. Considering what the talks are in regards to acquiring Deshaun Watson and what we're going to have to give up defensively, this really caught me off guard because you just keep pulling the scab in regards to the defensive ends and edge rushers, and you're putting a lot of pressure on guys like Yetur Gross-Matos. You're putting a lot of pressure on guys like Frankie Louvu, who neither one of those guys played full-time reps. Like they didn't play. They had rotational roles. So now, this one caught me off guard. Thoughts?
So here's my thing. Let me go first on this. So here's my thing about this. Like, when you consider the reason why we're doing this versus how we're going to be able to fix this, like, do we think that the guys on our roster is going to be good enough to replace this production? And that's the question of the day, right? Because the first thought was when I saw this, we know why it's because of Deshaun Watson, but the second thought I thought was, well, damn it. Now he would have been a defensive end would have been an option at 6, even though I thought that was a possibility before this. So now it's like, we're not going to have the pick to even try to fix this or improve upon the position.
Man, I know. I mean, the Fox release, it really kind of messed me up, and a lot of people have been like up and down on him. I've been reading the tweets about him. People forget that Morgan Fox was like the best interior pass rusher early in the season. Like when we had things clicking defensively, he was the guy that was getting the pressures. He didn't get home as much as I thought he would after he started out so hot, but I saw him in the backfield, creating havoc a lot. He was getting off the blocks, and I just really thought that he's the type of glue guy. He wasn't expensive. He had a lot of effort. There's one play that he had late in the season when the season was pretty much over where it was a goal line. There was a goal line defense. And I saw him get manhandled. I forget who we were playing, but I know a lot of fans kind of went in on him when they went back and looked and saw that he didn't give a lot of effort. But really, I mean, you can get one of those plays from any player on the team, throughout a season. And given where we were in the season, given where we were in that game, that wouldn't be the play that I would have to define Morgan Fox. If I was looking at where we were rosterizing, like you all mentioned, Dave, when you mentioned, what we could potentially have to give up to go and acquire Deshaun Watson, you look at pieces like that you can keep on your defense to have some continuity, starting level experience. We got ran on a lot, so you would think one of those bigger interior guys with versatility to go outside would be very important to have around. And so now he's gone, and I just saw an update that DaQuan Jones got signed, a few months ago. So he went to the Bills, and so now you're looking at like, 2 guys who started across your defensive front last year gone. So what's your plan for replacing that? Is it on the roster? You got to find it in free agency. You're gonna try to draft that. We don't have a bunch of picks, so what we're gonna do?
Yeah. So real quick, let's welcome Pat Coltrane, Mr. Baby Bubba himself, who unretired just to come to this show.
The retired Pat Coltrane.
I definitely ain't coming back now.
Hey man, hey look, hey Pat. This is the first time I had the pleasure of being in the same space with you, brother. You're my South Carolina brother, man. It's rare to be able to catch you in the wild like this. So it's a pleasure,
man. What's going on, man? Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. I see you going off all day on Twitter, man. That's what's up,
I do that too much, man. I'm gonna pull back in a minute.
No.
Don't worry. You might not have much of a choice with the mental state that this franchise is giving us.
For real, man. They're gonna drive me crazy.
All right, so let's wrap up the talk about Morgan Fox real quick. Pat, you got any thoughts on Morgan Fox before we move on?
That came out of left field, man. It really surprised me, man. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of folks didn't like Morgan Fox. I felt like he was a solid player, though. You know what I'm saying? I think he was, a good rotational guy. And my big thing today, what I was saying, like, you keep Ian Thomas over Morgan Fox. I feel like Morgan Fox was more. You could have used him more. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I don't even care no more. If y'all can't tell, I don't even care.
Yeah. I've been seeing your tweets, bro. You feel real dejected, bro. Like it's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny
man.
to see.
It's all good. It's all good though.
You brought up Ian Thomas. Are we going to talk about the signings that these tight ends have gotten?
No, we don't. We don't have.
Yeah.
We ain't got time for that.
Okay,
we ain't got time for all that.
My bad.
But we got a lot to talk about. They rushing us to get to the debate, but we can talk about it when we get a little bit later. But Morgan Fox again was cut. Just to give my thoughts, just wrap my thoughts up. He again, good rotational guy. I think a lot of talk about us getting bigger on the edges. That's going into this as well. And so they decided to move on from Morgan Fox. Again, I think he was a solid rotational guy. But let's move on to the next cut. AJ Bouye. This was a little bit less surprising to me. If you look at his cap figure, he ended the year on injured reserve. We were able to save $3.5 million. However, that cornerback room is starting to dwindle a little bit. We're now left with J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson. Who else? Keith Taylor, Stanley Thomas Oliver, right? Troy Pride. So it's getting a little thin, and I think we're starting to create holes where there wasn't necessarily holes at first.
Right.
So
could we trade J.C. Horn in this deal?
Bro, they can't do that. No,
don't do that. No, you don't want to do
I
that.
didn't say no. I didn't say we should.
Yeah.
I'm just asking the question. Could we trade this guy?
He the starter now. He the veteran.
Anything
we're gonna be out here. We about to hear.
That's true though.
Here, CJ. We might be out here trotting out here CJ Henderson and Keith Taylor with Troy Pride and nickel at this rate.
Well, the crazy part about this whole thing though is what you all are talking about, right? You have somebody like AJ Bouye who they brought in to be like a veteran presence. AJ to me started out really hot too, first 2 or 3 games, and I know he got dinged up at some point. But a lot of people I seen on Twitter today, a lot of people going in on him saying that he was a trash. And I was like, man, these folks are hard on dudes, man. Like
let me say this real quick, dog. My bad, PC. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead,
a lot of that is coming from Panther fans who just defending these moves by the Panthers. You know what I'm saying? That's all they doing, man. You know what I'm saying? They hardcore Panther fans who don't see no wrong. Anything the Panthers do, they don't see no wrong, and that's all they're doing, bro.
Well, I mean, and I'm not trying to. I mean, I just thought AJ was solid. I think with any secondary, you have to have like a certain balance of like veteran leadership, somebody who can see what's coming. Like AJ was that dude who was like snuffing out screen passes, bubble screen, stuff like that. He was in the backfield. He kind of played like a safety at sometimes. You know what I mean? And when you look at losing potentially Dante Jackson, who, with 4 years, whatever on his belt, he's still a vet. Then you have guys that you could lose like Justin Burris. You got guys that you
definitely going.
Yeah, definitely going. You got, Stephon Gilmore, who you picked up that had a lot of experience. Like, man, you're gonna have a defensive backfield that's gonna be led by J.C. Horn with 3 games under his belt as a starter, Keith Taylor, and then you're gonna have potentially you're gonna still have my man C.J. Henderson. Like those going to be your top 3 corners. And nobody has a lot of experience. I mean, they have a lot of talent, but not a lot of experience. And so to me, like having a dude in the room like Bouye is important, but I know it's about money, man. And I think, like you said, Pat, a lot of these folks, I don't know if it's so much as defending every move the Panthers make, but right now, because they got a guy that they want and they're looking at these dollars and the way to get to those dollars.
True. Yeah.
They're looking at the dollars that they save that he has up on the board right here. And it's like, okay, whatever. I don't want AJ Bouye anyway. If I get a quarterback, well, I hope that quarterback can play cornerback.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll get into that. Hold that thought. We're going to get into all that. We'll get into all that. But again, this one is a little bit less surprising. Also, again, like I said earlier, we were looking to float. We put him in trade rumors earlier before the trade deadline. He was floated around in trade talks. So I'm not surprised that they let him go. But again, just keep an eye on, and we'll talk about this later, but what's given up to potentially get Deshaun. I mean, we are creating some holes, and we'll talk about it. Just hold that thought. Now, so we filled some too. We did fill some holes today. We picked up Xavier Woods, and not the WWE Xavier Woods. Picked him up 3 years, $15.75 million. not a bad deal. I don't think this is terrible. This is a guy that has played with Dallas. I had a conversation with some Dallas guys. They weren't the fondest of Mr. Woods.
Let's just say I found a video of him making a comment saying that you don't play hard on every play. And the face
I saw that.
Spears made on ESPN Live had me in stitches.
Hey, man, you rest on defense, bro. You rest on defense.
Oh my God.
This ain't the league. But yeah, he definitely is taking his rest.
My man said, yo, man, you ain't supposed to be saying that in public.
He said you can't go 100% on every play. Come on now.
70 plays. You think we go hard on 70
my
plays?
Logic. That is my logic.
And we should go as hard as the team did last year. Whew.
So this was a safety pickup. Obviously, like we talked about earlier with Justin Burris, this kid is going to be able to replace him. He's young, I believe he's like 26 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mad at this, but this goes back to what I was saying about the type of guys that Carolina is going to attract. You're going to get the guys that looking to redeem themselves or they look to prove themselves. These are the type of guys that Carolina is going to attract. And so this is just one of those guys. He played free safety. Most of his snaps were played at free safety. I believe like the 4,000 some odd career snaps. He played more than half at free safety. He's played in the box. He's played slot as well. So he's a good versatile safety, which I do think we need. I don't know where he's going to line up. I don't know where Chin is going to be played as well. If he's going to be in a trade as well, I don't know. But I do think that this guy is a good pickup. So I'm not mad at Woods at all. Any other thoughts on Xavier Woods?
Just my initial thought was that he filled a need, right? You know, I went into the offseason thinking about the fact that I didn't want to see Justin Burris back there at safety again. I was thinking of maybe having Kenny Robinson step up, or him stepping into that role this year, especially if they kept Chin back there. But when I saw them pick him up, I knew he was a starter with the Vikings. You know, that's where I saw him most recently. He looked decent when I saw him this past year. And I just felt like, okay, that's a starting level free safety. And honestly, I don't think we've had that for the last 2 years. I mean, Justin Burris, he was in that role, but, he only had a little bit of experience in Cleveland doing that before he came to Carolina. And so I think Woods is a guy who can hit. I don't think he's going to miss some of those tackles that I saw Burris miss at times, and I think he has ball skills. And so as long as he's ready, as long as he's ready to play every snap, then I think we upgrade. You know what I mean? And so I'm good with it. I didn't realize this, but somebody texted me after the O-line pick, and I'm sure you're going to get to that and say, hey, look, This was one of the things they wanted to do is get a safety. So box check for that.
Yeah. I'm wondering about Miles Hartsfield. I mean, I'm wondering if they might try to move him in the corner, maybe play him in the slot. Considering now that's a bigger need.
Yeah, Miles is probably going to play nickel. Miles was all over the field last year. He played all over the place. So Miles is solid. I think he's going to be he's going to have another good year on his belt going into
I think he's going to be I think he's going to be more of an integral piece than we're going to be giving credit for.
And that's a little bias. It's a little bias. Miles is our guy, man. He came on the show. We got a little bit of Miles bias. We got some Miles bias on this joint, just to be transparent.
But at the same time, you don't make the decision to cut AJ Bouye, knowing that you probably ain't gonna have a pick higher than the 4th round pick if you ain't gonna have faith in the guy. Like, it's we're running out of places where we can get pieces. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think they're gonna probably, if you picked up your safety, Burns isn't coming back. Most likely, if he wants to play more, he's probably gonna have to move to the slot.
Yeah.
So
Pat, any thoughts on the safety?
I like Xavier Woods, man. I'm be honest. I also like Justin Burris. My feelings wouldn't have been hurt if we would have bought him back. But my biggest thing, I know a lot of fans been saying since we picked him up, then Justin. I'm tripping, y'all. I'm sorry. Jeremy Chin might be in this trade. I hope not, man. You know what I'm saying? I would really, really be excited about this signing if I knew for sure Justin. I mean, I'm tripping, man. Jeremy Chin was coming back. To be honest,
the Jays.
Yeah, man.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, bro. This fan base is gonna be heated because even if everybody's trying to
hold the thought, man.
I'm sorry, I keep jumping the gun.
We're gonna jump into Deshaun. Just hold that thought. We're gonna get to all that. No, you straight. We're gonna get into all that. We're gonna get into all that. So all right, we'll move on so we can hurry up.
Watching. Hold on, we almost got 600 people watching. Y'all need to hit that like button and get that thing popping immediately.
So Austin Corbett has not been officially signed yet. I just was preparing for. I thought they was going to have him signed by the time I went live. It hasn't happened yet.
They can't sign anybody right now. They can't sign anybody right now.
Agreed. We haven't even agreed the terms yet. So I think they're still negotiating. They're targeting this cat. Have they?
No,
I don't think they have.
Money.
We haven't seen any deal structure. So I don't think it has been agreed the terms yet. They're still negotiating. But let's speak as if this went down. Austin Corbett, I think this is a guy that it caught me off guard. I ain't gonna lie. I started doing my research. I saw that he was a second round pick for Cleveland. I'm like, yo, how did he end up
3-year deal? Breaking news: 3-year deal, $29.25 million.
Ooh, that's good money. It's like
3-year deal, man.
$29.25 million. No details on the guaranteed, but just broke. Microfollow. I think he was.
That's almost $10 million a year.
Yeah, that's starting money.
That is what that costs if you want starters, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a fact. And again, we talked about this with the type of guys. Either you're gonna get a dude looking to prove himself, or you're gonna have to overpay. And that's just the reality of Carolina. Well, that's where we at.
We're not really talking about what other teams have done, but I'm going to just give you an example. Christian Kirk just got paid.
That was stupid.
Broke the bank. Never had a 1,000-yard season. But when you are the Jacksonville Jaguars, that's what you have to do. You have to overpay. That's how it works.
Well, you know what, man. I don't think they had to pay as much as they paid. I like the move for them, but that's still pretty steep for Kirk.
$18 million a year. I wonder how much DJ Moore will be asking for next year.
DJ about to get
money, man.
Yo, he about to crack
money, man.
He about to crack that skull, man.
More than your favorite team will pay him.
Oh, Panthers ain't paying him. No,
that's funny. Yo,
Panthers not paying him. That's true. He gonna get paid, but Panthers not paying him, man.
Yeah. All right. So back to Corbett. So we did sign him. So Dave was right. We did sign him. And I think again, going back, I was doing some research. He was a 2nd-round pick from Cleveland. And then I'm like, yo, he only been in the league for 3-4 years. How he get traded so quick? So apparently Cleveland picked him up and thought he was going to be the future left tackle. And that didn't work out. And they tried to move him to center. He competed there, didn't work out. So they let him go. And they traded him for a 5th-round pick to the LA Rams. And again, that wide zone Sean McVay scheme that they run over there, it just worked. It meshed with his talents. And he balled out. And so that's kind of where they were. Again, he's just probably a cap casualty for them. They probably would have loved to keep him, but they got a lot of mouths to feed over there. So he's just a cap casualty.
Yeah. And
we picked him up. So again, I think this guy, there's some film floating around on Twitter. The nasty individual, Jordan Rodriguez said, our old friend, she said that he's a good, well-liked person. And he's just, when he's on the field, he's a nasty, nasty player. And that's kind of what we've been looking for. You can see the highlights. The dude's just he's a mauler. But I do have some questions around the scheme. Like I know we run a flavor of zone read or a zone scheme, a zone run scheme, but I'm not sure if it's similar or how similar it is to the McVay system. I don't know, but I have concerns about that because again, he was ass with Cleveland.
Which probably means
they placed him. They said they placed him in the positions where he didn't have to do too much in LA. And I'm not trying to discredit. He could be good, but I'm just saying, like, you're gonna pay this guy almost $10 million a year. I'm hoping it works out. I think he's better than what we got. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say that too. I agree.
I'll say that. Yeah. He's better than what we got.
This is the thing. I know that then Matt Rule come out during the offseason and say that they really want to become more focused on the run. I know he said that in the last season too, right? But now you have Ben McAdoo, running your offense. We don't really know what the run blocking scheme is going to look like, but this is the nugget that I got from watching the Rams late last year. Whitworth is still, weighs like 80 years old, but he's still a good pass blocker, right? They didn't run the ball to the left in LA. They ran the ball to the right almost all the time. And if there's running to the right, there's running behind Corbett. And so if Rule wants to change the identity to be more run focused, we're going to be running a lot of double tight stuff. I think Corbett is the type of guy that they envision being nasty and gritty. And, and I think wasn't it Jordan that said that he was the one that wanted to be the first down the field blocking for the running backs? And so I don't know what we're going to look like offensively. I don't have enough recollection of what Ben McAdoo's offense looked like, but I know it has to be some variation of the West Coast system, right? You know, if he was in Green Bay from when he was there. And so the scheme could be similar to McVay because all them guys run like a variation of that. And so you know, so it'd be interesting, man. I think he'd be better than what we had, like you guys said. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Might be a light-skinned Trey.
Yo, man, look, listen.
Hey, real quick. So, hey, listen. So Call Me Bezo says we got a guard Rashad. You still ain't happy? No, that's not true, man. I just keep it funky.
I am happy.
Like, I'm not a dude that's just gonna gush over every pick. I gotta keep it real with y'all. I gotta give y'all the facts. Like, he's a good player and is a very good upgrade over John Miller. But I also got to show you the negative. Like, we can't just come up here and talk glory all the time. You got to keep it a buck. He's got a history. He got traded.
You gotta be real, man. The Rams was a championship team, man. You know what I'm saying? And usually how these things work, they usually look bad. If they look bad on a bad team, they're gonna look bad with us. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Rams was a championship team. I hope he is good. You know what I mean? And I seen the highlights and I seen the videos that's going around. I'm still kind of sure. I'm happy we made this move though. You know what I mean? Because this is one of those linemen I don't know a whole lot about. I'm happy we made that move, but usually how these things work, if they were bad on a bad team, they're gonna be bad with us. Just watch.
First, real quick, before anybody else says anything, we got to welcome my man Cody to the stream. Cody, what's good, broski?
PNP, what's going on?
This might be a fight tonight, man.
What up, Cody?
You
know I had to get the fire starter to come through, man.
Bro. Hey, I'm pumped, man. My word has been manifesting. I am manifesting. We are manifesting. Deshaun Watson to Charlotte, bro. I am on one. I'm pumped about it, dude. And look, man, I think David Tepper and Scott Fitterer, they're doing everything in their power to build a football team that Deshaun Watson is not only going to want to come to, but can actually have him come on board the team and it still be a competitive football team, man. So, I mean, listen, we're very hopeful about Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen. So with that said, I like the Austin Corbett signing. You know, you're going to put him, you know, he has versatility. You can play him at guard. You can play him at center. I mean, you can basically get in where you fit in, right? The Panthers are going to do that with him and hopefully put Deontay Brown on the other side. And we still are going to have our late round draft picks this year, 3 through 7, I'm assuming. So the Panthers can still draft someone too, man. I like this signing. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I like it. We got to do something. We got to improve from what we have in John Miller. Let's just say that. And I like it. I'm with it. Any final thoughts on Austin Corbett before we move on?
Nah, man, just block somebody.
That's it. That's it.
Just put a hat on a hat, bro. Please.
Just block
Just some pancakes or something.
We're gonna see.
Right. Yeah, we gonna find out real soon. Again, that McVay, that zone scheme has it. We'll see if it translates over here because we'll find out. All right. So real quick, we got to talk about my man Hassan Reddick, who got paid.
Happy for him, man. I'm happy for him.
He got paid, went to the Eagle, went back home to Philly. I don't think I didn't before Daquan Jones, he would have went up here too, but we were already live. But Daquan Jones and Hassan Reddick both got signed elsewhere. Shout out to Hassan, man. He got paid $15 million per year. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a hometown discount. I thought he should have got more. I thought he should have got a little bit more than that, personally.
I expected him
to go home, man.
I mean, honestly, when I saw how much he's getting paid a year, I was like, man, we couldn't have competed. You know, like I thought he was looking more towards 18, 19, 20.
Right.
When I saw 15, I was like, bro, like that was going rate like 2 or 3 years ago.
I think he wanted to go home, man. He played college ball at Temple. Yeah, he played college ball at Temple. You know, Philadelphia Eagles, they have a bunch of draft picks too. That's why a lot of people thought they would be involved in the Deshaun Watson trade, but it looks like they're sticking with Jalen Hurts. They've got the ammunition to build a competitive football team, man. And it's hard to not say Hassan Reddick is one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, man. When you look at what he's done the past 2 seasons, I mean, look, I'm a Brian Burns fan, but he was far more beneficial to the Panthers' sack totals than Brian Burns was. Like, that was our threat last year. It's going to be really hard to replace him. But at the same time, I'm happy for him, man. If it wasn't going to be with us, at least he got to go home and play ball for Philly.
Yeah. No, I think there aren't too many guys that can do what or say they've done what Hassan Reddick has done. Like, he's the double-digit sacks, 10 plus sacks at back-to-back seasons. I mean, you're talking about you're talking about Aaron Donald. It's only like 4 dudes: Trey Henderson, Aaron Donald. I can't remember the other one. Hassan Reddick, and there's one more. So it's rarefied air, man. Like, and I kept telling people, "Oh, we can't afford them. We can't pay them." Like, yo, you can't afford not to pay them. Like, and now we in a situation where, hey, I said it up here 1,000 times. Next year, I can see it happening right now. Yeah, we gonna be live. They'll be like, yo, where's the pass rush? Oh my God, where's the pass rush?
Burns gonna bring the pass rush. Frankie Louvu,
if he's still on the team.
YGM, if they're still on the team.
Yeah, they good enough.
They better be trying to get
good
Marquise
enough
Haynes
right now.
back.
So
They better be trying to get Marquise Haynes back, bro.
That's a fact too.
Definitely.
That's a fact too.
Definitely. He might
Do y'all not have any hope for YGM to do something bigger with this Panther squad? Because I really think that YGM has, kind of gotten the Deontay Brown, Brady Christensen treatment, but we just don't necessarily call attention to it as much.
I ain't saying that. I think YGM got more play time. He get more opportunities.
He definitely got
Deontay Brown. Deontay Brown hardly even played last year.
Right.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I just wanted to see more of him. I think YGM.
I think he will now with Morgan Fox gone though.
Yeah, true that, man.
I mean, I think they play the same position, man. I saw YGM at camp, and I know Rashad, you were there. You saw that dude in person, bro. Like, when I saw him walking off the field with the defensive line group, he was like the biggest one. And if he continues to get bigger like that, then maybe he is that the versatile big end, in the odd front. I think what would help YGM become more of a pass rushing force though is if they went to an even front.
Yep.
And they just played him at big end, right?
Yep.
I think him being lost on the inside and the odd front, is going to take away some of the production that we thought we would get from him.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they're going to do now that they are, I really think they shifted the defense last year to accommodate Hassan. I think the 3-4, was a lot about him coming to the team. They may go back to an even front now that Hassan is gone. That's something, that we need to wait and see. I don't think Snow minds, switching back and forth. I don't think he's tied to a scheme. So we'll see what they do now that we've lost Morgan Fox, who was part of that vision, right?
Rotation, yep.
Hassan Reddick was the reason for that vision. With them guys going, you might see us go more to a big end front. And then I think YGM could be a force in that, So we'll see.
We gonna definitely need YGM to step up, man. Again, I think he's got some great college film. You go back to his Penn State days, dude was a baller, run stopping machine, and so we need to see it. Like, we got to see it.
He got to stay healthy.
Yes, that too.
He got to stay healthy.
I feel like people forget that he's 6'5", 265 pounds, man. Like, YGM has a ton of potential. I love this potential at Penn State. I even thought Penn State misused him a lot too. You're talking about moving his position on the D line. Yeah, I think that's been a long time coming for YGM. I don't know. We're definitely going to have to see a lot of guys take the next step coming up here recently, because I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but it's put up or shut up time for the Carolina Panthers, man. And that goes for everybody. And I think that's a real feel that's, going around not only this fan base, but the actual football team itself, man.
Yeah.
Bro, they ain't ready to put up.
Hold on, before we get into, we'll get into it. Before we get into that, any more thoughts on Hassan Reddick or any other former Panthers?
Congrats to Hassan for getting the bag, and any other Panther that comes get this bag, get it, man. I'm happy for you, dude.
Salute.
They've all earned it.
Congrats to Hassan, man. He earned that thing.
Yeah,
that's it.
All right, so this is a little bit outdated, but this was our current cap situation before we signed Xavier Woods and Corbett. So this is updated. This is not updated. To be clear, this is not the most current number. We started making moves. So we had got up to $35 million in available cap space. We got the 2 signings. We don't know the current the structure of the contracts just yet. We know the numbers, but we don't know the structure, the yearly breakdowns. So we'll come back to this and I'll update this as we go along. But this does include the releases of Morgan Fox and AJ Bouye, but does not include the new signings. All right, so just kind of keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on this future number as well, 2023. That's important to watch as we go in to talk about Deshaun Watson. That being said, man, let's get into it. Let's get into it, man. I got to take Seattle. I got to take Seattle off of this. I got to take Seattle off of this.
You need to change. You need to change that to Cleveland.
No, you need to take New Orleans and Seattle off this
don't
shit,
take
Rashad.
nobody off because we don't know.
We don't know.
Man. These reports.
No,
are
I
lying,
know.
man.
I know.
Come on,
I know.
man. Don't take
Deshaun
nobody
Watson
off.
fixing to be a Carolina Panther, yo. I know that I'm manifesting this, y'all. This shit's about to happen, bro. I'm really being real. This needs to happen. David Tepper knows it. Y'all know it. This is what's going to put us over the edge, man. And I'm tired of listening to people saying, oh, it's going to cripple the football team to trade for Deshaun Watson. We have been picking in the top 10 of the NFL draft for the past, 3 out of the last 4 years? What do we have to show for it?
I see what you want to do. So you want to just trade away all the picks so we don't have to pick up there no more.
There you go. Yeah, that's reverse psychology.
No.
I ain't know that's what we was doing.
So I was shout out to the Patreon, man. But I was talking to the Patreon, and I got a question for you guys. Do you know which quarterback has the most wins as a starter since 2019?
Since 2019?
Yeah.
DJ Walker.
Teddy?
What do you mean for the Panthers? Or
No,
who?
For the Panthers.
Oh, for the Panthers?
Kyle? Is it Kyle?
Darnold got 4. Teddy got 4. Kyle got 5.
There you go.
Gotta be Kyle.
It's gotta be Kyle.
It is Kyle. It's Kyle
I've
Allen.
been on the research, man. Levy Davis.
Shouldn't that tell you something? Shouldn't that be the only thing that you need to hear? That Kyle Allen is the most winning Panthers quarterback of the past, however many years you just said? Like, that's pathetic, y'all. Are y'all not tired of this quarterback limbo?
But
Bro, he was
problem.
more than just a quarterback, though.
But here's my problem. Deshaun Watson, when he played all 16 games, how many wins did he have?
Ooh.
Man, you're talking about one season, Dave.
Ooh.
How about the other 3 Pro Bowl seasons that you had before that?
Those
Look at
3
Pat.
Pro Bowl, but he was a Pro Bowler. He had Pro Bowl numbers when he won 4 games. The man almost threw for 5,000 yards.
Deshaun Watson has been nothing but a winner since he stepped foot for Clemson, man.
Dave, you saying there was garbage
4-12, right?
And he did it 3 years in the NFL. And by the way, during that 4-12 season for the Texans, almost threw for 5,000 yards, Dave. What other quarterback is doing that?
Dave said that was the garbage stats, bro.
I mean, shit, that's some high class garbage, bro. That's some high class garbage.
There's some
bro.
high quality. No, the point I'm trying to put is this: Deshaun Watson was Deshaun Watson every single year that he was in Houston. I'm not denying that. Yeah. Deshaun Watson was playing at a high level every single year in Houston. The moment that he had pieces around him, he was 4-12. You have to put things around this man.
With the number 1 QBR in the NFL, with 30-something touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 5,000 yards, no DeAndre Hopkins.
To wins.
Like,
if we can't stop a cold.
We don't have DeAndre Hopkins either.
We ain't got no DeAndre.
No, but we got DJ Moore. We got DJ
what
Moore,
and you
know
we better than
for
the
one
Texans,
more year.
Like,
for one more year.
Listen, y'all realize nobody talked about DeAndre Hopkins like a top 5 receiver in the NFL until he had Deshaun consistently chucking him the football.
Nah, bro.
No. What are you watching?
The narrative change around DJ Moore after Deshaun starts chucking him the rock, man.
DeAndre Hopkins didn't have nobody before Deshaun, and he was still balling. He was still one of the best wide receivers in the league.
And so was DJ Moore. So was DJ Moore. DJ Moore's been 1,000-yard receivers, the past 3 years in a row? Like, how does that not get better with Deshaun throwing him the football?
They different beasts, man.
All right, so let's reel this in real quick before we get into each and everybody get a couple minutes to talk. Make sure you hit that like button. We got 700 people watching.
Man, y'all hit
like
that
button,
man.
Subscribe button too, because we like 100 people away from 16K. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We greatly appreciate that. Now let's just go around the room. Cody, we've heard you talk about it. We haven't heard much from Pat. We haven't heard much from JJ. Pat, we'll start with you, man. What are the overall thoughts on just the Deshaun Watson situation and potentially coming to Carolina?
I'm gonna be honest, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I used up a lot of energy today. Okay, and my head hurting now. But
I'm sorry, Pat.
I just don't get it. I mean, Cody, I understand, and I don't really want to jump on you because it seems like we got like 4 against 1. So I ain't gonna do you like that, Cody.
But not necessarily. Don't speak for me, Pat.
My bad.
Don't speak for me, dog. Come on, man.
My bad.
I'm taking on all comers, bro. I'm on one. Let's go.
Yeah, because it looked like Rashad done lined you up. That's what he did.
Oh, hey, I'm just returning the favor. Hey, I'm just returning the favor. You remember that time? You remember that time, Pat?
Yeah, I know. I knew he was gonna bring that up. But anyways, I'm be honest. I'm not on the Deshaun Watson trade. But I will say that with the moves they made later on today, it wouldn't hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm gonna say if they can pick up another lineman, they really show that they want to build this team. Because before these trades, it didn't look like they was trying to build this team. They looked like they just was trying to sacrifice everything for Deshaun Watson. That's what it looked like. I don't care what nobody say. And Cody, you could look. I can promise you didn't think they were going to sign the lineman because you were focused on Deshaun Watson all day long. That's it. And I can tell you, if they continue to build this team, the Xavier Woods, the Austin Corbett, if they can bring in some more offensive linemen and prove to me that they really want to protect the QB, then I'm all for it. Be honest, that's just how I feel about it. But earlier today, I wasn't feeling it. It didn't make no sense. And that's what this team is known for. They're known for doing stuff that don't make sense. You willing to trade away all these picks, was being rumored for Deshaun Watson. And we know that one quarterback is not going to change this team. We done did it with Cam Newton. And if Cam Newton could do it, I promise you, Deshaun Watson can't do it with Matt Rule. I think a lot of people are forgetting that we still the Carolina Panthers. Okay, we're not the Rams. We're not some championship team. We are the Carolina freaking Panthers. And we might not be as good as Houston Texans. He might come over here and it be worse. So that's my whole thing about it. If we can build around him, if we could continue to build, if Tepper and Rule and Fick can work their magic and build around them, you know what? It is what it is. But if they don't, then I don't like it.
JJ, go ahead, bro.
Hey, man, I got 2 different fronts for this, right? And so for all the people watching, I just want to be fair, and I don't know what the split is, and I don't even care, right? I mentioned on my podcast the other day, that there's a such thing as winning at all costs, right? And I think Dave Tepper has gone a bit too far in his pursuit to get this one quarterback. And I think the team would ultimately suffer because of what he would have to give up to get it. And that's just the football part only, right? 3 first-round picks, some second-round picks, some players. This is a team that was 5-12 last year. It was 5-11 the year before. When you see other teams make plays like this, they have so many things in place, and the only thing they need is a quarterback. That's why the Rams did what they did. Tampa Bay didn't have to trade anything to get Tom Brady. They just signed him. But we're looking at those type of deals and trying to model what we're trying to do like they did. We're not them, like Pat just mentioned. We're not in the same caliber. We're not the same caliber of team. We're not ready to go to the Super Bowl. And we may get ourselves in a situation to where if we trade away the ability to get better through the draft for the next 2-3 seasons, we lost some of our young talent because we traded them away for Deshaun Watson. He's going to be in a similar situation to where he was in Houston. I said this last year. A lot of people thinking that I'm just switching my tune up now because of the 22 allegations and stuff that happened with him. I don't know if that man is guilty or not. It don't even matter at this point. He's going to play for somebody, right? I just don't think that we're the team that's in position to go and make the move for him. It doesn't matter how bad Dave Tepper wants him. It doesn't matter how bad we think we need another quarterback to come in and be the franchise face. We do need that. But I'd much rather pursue that the organic way.
Can I ask you a question?
Hold up.
No.
One
second, Cody. Cody, 1 second. 1 second.
All right.
Go ahead, DJ.
No, I'm good.
And so if Deshaun Watson, if they're able to land Deshaun Watson, I'm a Carolina Panthers fan, right? And so I'm gonna support this team. I'm gonna be happy when we win. I'm gonna be pissed when we lose, but I'm gonna put it on the team to prove me wrong in terms of being able to build with limited assets. The crazy part about the whole, thing I've been seeing around Twitter with people saying, well, we can do it this way, we can figure it out. All we have to do is, just hit good in the middle rounds and late rounds and blah, 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 blah. And we can build around Deshaun with the limited resources we're going to have. I mean, I saw your slide, Rashad, we're going to have more money next year, but still, you're talking about a team that hasn't done much with what they had to this point. So why all of a sudden you're going to trust them to build with less resources?
Talk. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
And so y'all can say what y'all want. Y'all can talk to me like I'm an idiot, for saying this can't be done or it shouldn't be done or whatever. But if you had a dude picking a long snap in the 6th round last year, you think they're going to turn around and start making prudent picks?
Oh, man.
Bro, I'm about to jump out of my skin right now, bro.
Hey, Cody.
No, I'm sorry. This ain't my show.
JJ, are you good? You good?
I mean, I'm going to have a chance to speak later. I just want to go ahead and get off of it so somebody else can get on it. But, hey, look, Dave Tepper has so much that he can lose. And I was speaking to somebody via DM, and I won't even reveal their name, but it's a prominent woman in the sports world. And I sent them a question before I came on here. I said, what do you think about what's going on in Carolina with Deshaun Watson? And I'm going to tell you what they said. They said it's been hard to watch from afar. I'm a victim of what's going on. I don't know what happened with Deshaun, and I'm not trying to blame him. I think he was a good guy before everything happened. I'm one of the biggest Deshaun Watson fans that there was. I'm like you, Cody. I was at, I follow Clemson. That man gave me some of the biggest moments I've ever had as a fan at the college level in my life. I'm a Notre Dame fan, by the way, but I've been with Deshaun for years, bro. And I know that there are people out there that feel really, really, really put off because, and it's not about Deshaun, it's about the owner. They think that the owner showed his hand way too aggressively, way before anybody knew, and they felt set aside, and they don't feel like they really are thought of as fans. And that's hard. And I'm not here to talk about that. I'm not a woman. I can't speak from a woman's perspective, but just know that there's more going on with the energy around the situation that's bigger than football. But talking about football, I think is a bad move, in terms of the football planning perspective. And I think Dave Tepper stands to lose a lot of good faith, goodwill, and pursuing it the way that he's doing it. It's a little bit too brazen. But that's it. That's all I'm going to say. We'll talk about some more when we go around. Go ahead to the next person, Sean.
Yeah. So, Cody, before you jump in, I know you itching. Pause.
You ready?
But so hold on, because Cody, I think I got your back, man. I think I got your back because I was on the fence. I was on the fence with this as well. I was on the fence with the whole Deshaun situation. I broke the numbers down. It didn't make much sense to me. But listen, there's literally nothing you can compare this to. Like you mentioned Russell Wilson. He's 33 years old. You mentioned another. This mentioned Matt Stafford. There's nothing you can compare this situation to. This man is 26 years old.
Yes.
In his prime. Prime. There's nothing. This has never happened before.
It's literally unprecedented. A quarterback who's younger than 27 in the prime of his career, not only just a franchise quarterback, but a top 5 NFL quarterback. Rashad, you know what else we got in common, man? We're content creators, man. We try and entertain people, especially when the Panthers are sucking, being terrible. Would you rather make content about Deshaun Watson passing and throwing and running for NFL touchdowns, or Sam Darnold throwing to the Angels in the end zone, bro? It's like if the Panthers are ever going to be relevant, we have to execute on these moments right now, man. Those playoffs last year demonstrated for the world that if you don't have a game changer at the quarterback position, you're dead on arrival, man. If you don't have a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, or Joe Burrow, look how bad the Bengals were before Joe Burrow came in with all that swag, started throwing around the football. It's like, man, all these draft picks, it hasn't done anything for us, man. We've been picking in the top 10 the past 3 out of the 4 years. It's like, if we're ever going to be a competitor, and more importantly, you don't want to lose out to the New Orleans Saints on this. Like, you don't want to lose Deshaun to New Orleans and Tom Brady's coming back in town. Like, bro, this is one of the most important moments in the history of the Carolina Panthers, bro. Real talk. This is a moment that is going to define the next 10 years of Panthers football. David Tepper knows that. That's why he's been so aggressive. No other team has been tethered to Deshaun Watson more than the Carolina Panthers. We were going to trade for him before Deshaun's legal situation got cleared up, man. So it's like, when you look at, we're close to Clemson, we're close to Georgia, born and raised, broke records at playing quarterback in Gainesville, Georgia. Like, Deshaun Watson has always been a winner, and you have to capitalize on these moments, man.
Go ahead, JJ. Go ahead. Anybody want to respond to that?
Well, I mean, look, Cody, like you said, bro. I remember Dabo Swinney saying this about Deshaun Watson, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. He said, it's like picking Michael Jordan, right? And I'm putting that out there just to show you that I do have some balance, right? I admire the dude's talent more than almost anybody that's playing the game. And it wasn't but 2 years ago where I thought he was top 3 in the league. You know, for me, it's always been Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, and then Deshaun had reached the top 3 at one point for me, right? And so I don't want anybody listening to this think that, you know, all of a sudden, you know, JJ don't like this dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't like that. Deshaun is like that, right? I just think that you have to put some cut on it sometime. And I think that this is a moment where we can want the best player in the world. I mean, shit, you should have went out and tried to get Aaron Rodgers. You know, you should have went out and tried to get anybody who was available who's the elite of the elite. Like, why stop at Deshaun, right? But the reality is we're not one player away. And we're losing talent faster than we're gaining it. And I don't know how well they're going to be able to execute the salary cap, you know, if they get Deshaun Watson. But I don't trust them to. And like, you don't trust them to spend first round, to draft guys in the first round or the second round or whatever. But they've done better at that than they've done at free agency historically, right? True. They don't do good in the depth of the draft, but they've done really well. And if you look at last year, you could almost say like they're day 3, and I give them credit for this. You know, stealing guys like Davion Nixon was pretty decent, right? Yeah. I mean, it's probably like the best day 3 pick they've had in a long time. But nothing else really hit. Nothing really hit from day 2 yet. I mean, unless Christensen, you know, get some starts. We'll see what happens with Trumbull. But I mean, I just don't trust them to build a winner around Deshaun if they have to give up that much. When the boys hit 4-12 in Houston with Deshaun, having the best year of his career, the reason why Deshaun wanted more say in what was going on is because he looked at the future of that team without any first-round draft picks. That just got rid of Nuke. And I think he was trying to figure out, like, bro, if I'm going to stay around here and try to win, y'all better help me pick the groceries, help me pick the coach. You know, that's why you think that was leaked the other night or last night or whenever it was. Dave Tepper did as much research as he could about what happened in Houston. Why Deshaun, after he got paid, what at the time was the highest paid contract in the league, why did less than 12 months later he wanted to leave? It's because he looked up and he saw that he couldn't win with what he had. What do you think is going to happen in Carolina if they fail to build a winner around Deshaun Watson 2 years into his contract?
But you see how we're talking. You see how we're talking from a place of fear, though. Like, oh man, if the Panthers fail at this, then we'll be in this.
We failed for 4 consecutive years, bro. Like,
here's my thing. Here's my dilemma, man. Here's my problem. This regime has shown me that they have no ounce of patience. None. No ounce of patience whatsoever. We ain't had no patience with Cam. We ain't had no patience with Teddy. We ain't got no patience with Sam. What makes you think they're gonna have patience with Deshaun? Like, that's the thing that annoys me more than anything else. When they fired Ron Rivera, The main thing they kept saying was, Rome ain't built in a day. Give us some time. And they showed nothing to give me a reason to give them time. They showed me nothing. I'm out here pouring the scotch off of this at this point. Like, they showed me nothing.
What's going to happen, Dave, is that they're going to get themselves in a similar situation that they got themselves at the head coach position. They're going to give a guy so much up front that they're not going to be willing to break from it.
A little bit different, though. A little bit different.
It's different because it's a player, but the reality is
a proven player too. Like, we're not talking about
but this is the problem.
Talking about potential.
Like this,
but they thought Darnold was proven too. They compared that man to Matt Stafford.
But you cannot compare Deshaun to Darnold.
But
for all the things that the Panthers have failed to do, they also didn't have a franchise quarterback. Like,
I'm not comparing him,
common denominator there.
Cody, I'm not comparing him to Darnold. No. I'm saying that they thought Darnold looked like Stafford, and they thought it was okay to trade for him.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not comparing Deshaun Watson to Darnold.
What he's saying is that shows the propensity to not identify talent and not be able to build properly around Deshaun Watson, which may lead to a bigger issue, going to what JJ's point, and that he may want to be able to leave, or may want to decide to leave, just like how he wanted to be pushed out of Texas or Houston. And then we're in a situation.
Like,
it's a valid point. Like, Cody, with all due respect, hold on, Dave.
All right, I'll let you finish.
With all due respect, like, I feel you. We got to be able. It's one thing to get Deshaun, because I want him too. Like, I want Deshaun here, but the Panthers have literally shown us nothing when it comes to being able to build and identify talent. And look at the contracts that we're giving out. These contracts. Our 2021 free agent class is completely, almost damn near gone. Right? That is a problem. That's a huge problem, right?
All right. Well, can I push back on? Well, can I push back on that one thing real quick? Okay. Do we think that Brady Christensen's going to be a good player going forward?
We don't know, bro.
Oh, okay, but are you
hopeful?
Are you inclined to believe so right now?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. How about Terrace Marshall Jr.?
We hope so.
I think so.
Okay,
we're not gonna be able to afford. We ain't gonna be able to afford DJ One. We ain't gonna be able to afford DJ One in 2022. So,
what about Tommy Tremble? Y'all think he might be a good player?
If they put him in the right place.
My point
what about
is,
Thomas Fletcher?
We have had one season of Scott Fitterer, and we're all like, "Oh, but we're not going to be able to build around him because of this and that." Like, the man walked into a situation where Matt Rule was given final say-so on all these things.
He still has that. Yeah, he still has that.
But you know what, Rashad? I'm starting to think that when you look at these past two seasons, I think that David Tepper is giving more control to Fitterer to build the team in his image and let Matt Rule be the head coach. I can't confirm this. This is obviously
I'm gonna be honest.
This is my opinion. But Cody, I'm hearing all. I'm just saying.
I haven't agreed with you with a lot. I haven't agreed with you a lot tonight, but I do agree with you there. I think Tepper has realized that Scott needs to be a GM and Rule needs to be a head coach, and I think that's going to cause that level of friction between the two. But I think now Tepper's like, "Yo, we've already tried it your way. Shit ain't working. I'm gonna let Scott do his thing." But Scott got to be careful, because if Scott screws this up, it might be a package deal. Get the hell out of here if this fails in 2022.
But also, like, are we also on the same page that if we trade for Deshaun Watson, we're making a 5+ year investment for as
10,
good
10. It better be 10 year. It better be a 10-year investment.
Remember, everybody laughed at Matt Rule when he said 7 years. So now y'all talking about 10 years and 5 years. Everybody before wanted to win now. When Matt Rule said 7 years, everybody was like, "Oh, he think he Jay-Z."
Real talk, Pat. If it's true that Tepper said he could pick his coach, don't worry. Rule ain't gonna be here for 7 years.
But that's my point, Dave.
But no. But what I'm saying is, when people want people like Cody cool with now the long-term success, waiting on us to build around Deshaun Watson. But when Matt Rule told y'all 7 years, it was like, "Oh, he think he Jay-Z." But now that everybody want Deshaun Watson, we like, okay, yeah, we can wait. Let's wait 4-5 years down the line. I'm just saying, look, pick your poison, man. You know what I'm saying? Whichever, but make it make sense. Make it make sense. Don't just be wishy-washy. Just because folks didn't like Matt Rule told everybody it was going to take forever. Mm-hmm. Now, whenever you ready to tear down a roster for one player, you willing to wait.
Now you're patient.
Well, no, the problem is Matt Rule said it could take forever, and Tepper probably went up to the office and was like, nah, fam, you ain't gonna take forever on this shit. You got a year to figure this out. Okay. That's why the franchise is in a panic right now.
But I mean, the reason we're in a panic right now, David, is because we've been mixed up for the last 2 seasons, right? Like we didn't reset to a rebuild when Rule came in. That's because Tepper messed up and kept the GM who wanted to prove himself instead of letting Matt Rule really reset the whole joint, right? And so now we're in year 2, 5 games in, and we making these deals for like Stephon Gilmore and whatever. So we want to win now, right? So it's no longer a rebuild. When you start making moves like that, you're making moves to win. Scott Fitter even came out and said it, right? He was like, the CJ Henderson joint was about the future. The Stephon Gilmore thing is about the win now. Obviously, that went left. It didn't happen, right? And so we're sitting here thinking like, okay, you got a head coach who is going into year 3. The insane part about this whole thing is with the whole Deshaun Watson pursuit is that you got a head coach going into his 3rd season. And if he doesn't make it through the 3rd season or to the 4th, the dude would have never picked his own quarterback. How many head coaches have started a career and then select one quarterback in any of his first 3 draft classes, bro?
Yeah, that's a good question.
But that's a great question. But I want to give a shout out to the super chat because I want to answer this question. I'm not saying we aren't easily number 2 in the division, but is number 2 enough to make the playoffs? Because I think that's what's going to take for Matt Rule to keep his job. Not being second in the division ain't going to buy you shit. The goal was if he was going to be first, but now that Brady's coming back, that changes things a bit. Right. So, like, I think I was more open to Deshaun Watson. I still was against it, but I was more open to the Deshaun Watson trade pre-Brady than I am post-Brady. Because
now it feels like more of a moot situation, right? Like,
yes.
You're not going to be able to get first anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But all I'm hearing is that y'all don't like Matt Rule, so therefore that means we shouldn't get Deshaun Watson. When Deshaun Watson is going to outlast Matt Rule. If Matt Rule is fired next year, Deshaun Watson is still your franchise quarterback. And what I think a lot of people are failing to understand is that the ability to find a franchise quarterback is one of the toughest things to do in all of football, man. It's difficult. So to have a surefire product like Deshaun Watson, like whatever worries you have about Matt Rule or Fitterer or whatever, man, like Deshaun Watson is a transcendent talent. He will be able to overcome all of that.
All right, so
Cody make a valid point. Cody make a valid point, but I want to ask you this question, with all due respect.
Yeah.
So we know Deshaun is a talent, right? Yep. We know that he's one of the top 5, 6, 7, whatever at his position. So we don't have a great 2022. Matt Rule gets fired, right? And so now there's the new head coach. Well, we know they ain't hiring Eric Bieniemy unless Eric Bieniemy is somewhere, And so whoever comes in, right? The next coach comes in. They're going to be asked to improve whatever Matt Rule couldn't do in 2022, but they're going to be asked to do that without a first round pick, without a second round pick. I mean, they're gonna, and so it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more on Fitterer or whoever the GM is, because like Dave said, the GM could get fired with Matt Rule.
So let me. Oh, go ahead. My fault, JJ. Go ahead.
I think the point I'm just trying to make is, if Matt Rule isn't the guy that goes the distance with Deshaun Watson, if he's acquired, it's like the job really isn't going to be that attractive. I mean, besides the fact that somebody knows they're going to come in and have Deshaun Watson. But in terms of being a builder around Deshaun Watson, it's going to be fully dependent on almost on free agency, because we don't have the luxury of these teams that we've seen do it, like the Rams and the other teams that's given away, first round picks across the years, them teams are so much more loaded than us. And so we're not going to have that depth of talent. At least I don't think we will. And we're not going to have the ability to get guys in the first round, and leverage those picks, for more picks or whatever. I don't see it right now. So if you fast forward to 2023, you're a head coach and you're taking over this job, like what's your approach to building this thing around Deshaun Watson without any really high picks?
So the point that I want to make, and you kind of touched on it a little bit there, JJ, and people are kind of dismissing this. If you have a franchise quarterback that people like and want to play for, what you're losing out in draft capital, you're making up in free agency capital. Yep. People are going to want to have Deshaun throw them the football. They're going to want to be on the other side of the football, so that way they know when the defense gets takeaways, Deshaun Watson's coming out on the field and they're putting up points. Like, this is a very real thing that happens too. And, again, I can name a bunch of players throughout history that have been starting level, even Hall of Fame talent that have been drafted in rounds 3 through 7. So, yes, is it more difficult to be able to draft and build your team? Absolutely it is. But, going forward, we're still going to have, the rest of the draft for the next 3 years to be able to adequately build this football team. And you add on top of that a bolstered free agency period where people are going to want to come here. And those differences are offset now, man. It all comes down to, do we have a general manager and a front office that we believe in? And I know we might disagree on this, but right now I'm inclined to believe in Scott Fitterer and Amir Suleiman. I like the work that they've done so far.
What I would say about that, and you might be right. I hope you are. If that ends up being our fate, I hope that you're right. This is my only issue with that as it pertains to our Carolina Panthers. I didn't really see a lot of free agent wide receivers lining up to go to Houston when Deshaun was out there, right?
That's a good point.
And Houston is a much more, I lived in Texas for over 6 years. Houston is a much more desirable location than Charlotte, North Carolina. I love Charlotte.
I don't believe that, man. I disagree with you wholeheartedly.
Bro, it's a fact.
I ain't trying to make a slight.
Facts,
I'm from around the way. I get.
I'm in Charlotte right now, man. I live here, man.
I'm just saying, bro. When you look when you're looking at being a millionaire, Texas is a tax-free state, no state taxes. It's a major city, major airports just like Charlotte. It's a lot more.
Fourth largest city in the country.
Fourth largest city in the country. I've been through Houston, bro. I did some things in Houston.
Charlotte's the fastest growing city in the Southeast, man.
Well, what I'm trying to tell you,
all they do is build shit around here, bro. Like, I live here.
Cody love the city, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that, Cody.
No shame, bro. I love Charlotte too.
City,
but Houston's built something, bro. Like,
they don't have enough microbreweries in Charlotte, bro. To compete with Houston.
So what are we competing with?
But you
compete with the restaurants they have? Like, what are we even talking about at this point, man?
You're competing with culture, bro. You're competing with the want to be in the place. And what I'm saying about
it's valid. That is valid, though.
We couldn't even get top wide receivers to come and play with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the third most popular player in the NFL for his time there.
But we also had terrible management.
We didn't have the cap space.
Bro, like that's a false dichotomy, man.
I'm just saying, you didn't see anybody clamoring to come here with almost the most popular player in the sport. Now I know Deshaun is like that. I'm not taking away anything from Deshaun, but y'all haven't seen, like, wide receiver is a sexy position. Y'all know that, right? And so them guys want to go play where it's fun to play. Look what OBJ chose to play when he got set free from Cleveland. He didn't pick middle of the country, Kansas City. He didn't pick, just wherever the good quarterback was. That dude said, I'm going to LA.
Yeah, it's a whole nother vibe.
But again, LA, that's made for Odell Beckham, man. When you come to a place that has good management and a franchise quarterback,
what a good management.
Right, man.
They don't give a damn about the culture in whatever city you're talking about, man.
All right.
They just don't.
What a good
Let's just say, all right, I'll put it this way.
Let's just say the New England Patriots, bro? Like,
no, wait. Let's just say
Carolina Panthers, dog. That's what I'm talking about.
They don't have any culture. Boston, New England, they ain't really got no culture like that. But players wanted to come here, like as a city. They ain't really got a culture like that. But players want to come here because of the coach, because of the organization. That matters.
Well,
how y'all expect
matters.
to build the culture if we never win nothing? You're not going to
But we
win
did
nothing
win
without a
something.
franchise quarterback.
But we did win something. We had a culture, and you saw the difference when Cam
And we
was
had
here.
a franchise quarterback in his prime. That's the common denominator here.
That didn't have any issues.
If you go a route any way other than Deshaun Watson, you're not talking about the Panthers being a good football team for the next 3 or 4 years. Are y'all really willing to wait that long? I'm not, man. Like, it's time to win football games.
You ready for a hot take, Cody? You ready for a hot take, Cody? You ready?
Bring it, man. I'm ready for it.
You ready?
Yeah.
Dog. Even if we trade for Deshaun, if we only win 5 games, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked.
So speaking of that,
be careful and
hold on. So speaking of that, that's a great segue into what because we haven't really talked about what has to be potentially given up to get him in regards to specifically players, right? We talking about when we know the compensation, the draft compensation is going to be 3 first rounders. All right. So now we talk about the players that could be potentially given up.
Stop right there. Stop right there for 1 second. You just said 3 first rounders. It's going to be more than 3 first rounders. We're probably going to have to give up a second rounder or 2.
Multiple.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing. That's what was given up to get Deshaun. So, Russell Wilson. So a couple second rounders. Listen, I think the draft stuff, and I'm a draft guy, and I think the draft picks are a little bit overstated. I think you can build a team without draft picks. It's been done.
Hey, Rashad, let me do this real quick before you move on from that point, right?
Sure.
So let's go back for 3 years and look at all the players that we picked in the first and second rounds over the last 3 years, right? And so we can go back to when that's 2019. So we go back to Brian Burns, right? And so we were picking the second round. We picked Greg Little, so that I guess that don't count, right? And so then we go to 2020 and we pick Derek Brown, YGM, Jeremy Chin, right? So that's 5 players, right?
Yep.
And then we get to 2021 and we pick J.C. Horn and Terrace Marshall Jr., right? So what we're saying is that if we pick up Deshaun, for the 3 years after picking him up, those caliber players we won't even have a chance at ever getting. But those are the same players that we don't want to give up right now. I think some of them I will be willing to part ways with for Deshaun. No, I'm not saying for Deshaun. I'm saying going forward, like those are the players that you won't even have a shot at ever touching.
Yeah, but you can also turn around. I think Cody said this earlier. You're gonna have to work in free agency, and I think there is something to say about if this team turns it around and starts winning, and that's a big if, right? You've got to execute. If this team starts winning, I do think you're gonna see more players want to come to play with Deshaun Watson. A big if, right? But we have seen, and just going back to the draft picks, we've seen teams have multiple first round picks and do nothing with them, right? Yes. On the opposite end.
Yeah.
So you can have as many draft picks in the world that does not automatically equate to you getting the top players and them actually performing, right? The draft is the ultimate crapshoot. It's just reality, right? So you're going to have to shift that, and you're going to have to get super aggressive in free agency. Right now, we only got 2 cats. Like that mindset is going to have to shift, and you're going to have to go out there and get guys. And again, they're going to have to want to come here. I say that all the time on Twitter. Yes. Guys have to want to come here. And I feel like, okay, we can go out there. And I think somebody asked this earlier, right? What's the alternative, right? Go out and get a Malik Willis or whoever. What is the alternative? How does it work? I mean, what are we going to do if we go out and we pick? What is the alternative here?
I mean, for me, you asking me?
Anybody want to answer?
Here's my beef, and I'll let you go, JJ. Give me 1 second. Here's my beef. If we trade for Deshaun, we're about to have $53 million towards the quarterback position, bro, for this upcoming year. $53 $53 million.
That's if they don't off Sam Darnold's
They might
contract.
restructure.
Right.
They might restructure Deshaun because Deshaun will be willing. We know Sam ain't gonna be willing. So we're talking about at the worst case, $53 million at the position, and we might mess around and win 7 or 8 games, maybe 6, possibly 5.
Crazy.
There's no faster
wild
way
to me.
There's no faster way to winning seasons for the Carolina Panthers without Deshaun Watson. Tell me how we become a better team faster without this trade than we do with it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I believe, and nobody can know. We don't know. I mean, and my approach isn't any better than anybody else's approach, right? But I kept the same energy last year. I actually had a tweet on March 14th last year where somebody was asking to rate what they would like most in the whole Deshaun versus a rookie situation. I said I would prefer Justin Fields or Trey Lance, and then my third in that progression was Deshaun Watson. And the only reason I chose those other 2 guys, even though they were unproven versus Deshaun, was because I felt like with those guys, I can get them on a rookie deal, and I have the ability to continue to build with all the draft assets and the financial assets through free agency, right? This year is no different from me. Like, we basically just fast forwarded 12 months, but we didn't get any better. At the end of 2020, we were 5-11. At the end of 2021, we were 5-12, right? Same team, same sorry ass Panthers. And now we have the opportunity with the 6th pick to either pick a guy like Malik Willis, who, everybody watched Senior Week. There wasn't an NFL pundit who didn't say the dude wasn't freaky. He was doing things that nobody else was doing. Even the other players were saying that he was doing things that none of the other ones were doing, like dudes playing his position. Fast forward to the combine. He put on a show, right? And so the crazy part is you look at somebody like the Buffalo Bills and we sit there and look at them like, oh, no, Sean McDermott doing this thing up there in Buffalo. Look what he did with Josh Allen. Oh, my God, like he's out there throwing laser beams. You know what I'm saying? Same thing we saw in the playoffs. Well, there's one guy in this draft that's actually doing that right in front of us, but nobody wants to give him the same shot, even though he has the same freaky arm talent. He probably can. He's like 6'1", 225. He's like a running back with a cannon attached to his right shoulder. But nobody wants to take a shot on that dude, and then continue to build in the draft. Or let's say you don't even go that route. Say they really like 8.5-inch hands Kenny Pickett because he looks the most pro ready.
But then again, you're still talking about a rookie quarterback.
But Cody, check it out, bro. Like, that's what most teams do. That's what the LA Chargers did. That's what the Cincinnati Bengals did. That just went to the Super Bowl in the second year of their rookie quarterback. Like, teams are actually building around rookie quarterbacks. Jacksonville is doing a good job of that today, right? You got the Jets that are building around their rookie quarterback. The Chicago Bears will build around their rookie quarterback. It's not like you can't do that in NFL. That's why the draft is set up the way it's set up. I'm not saying that this is the best QB draft that's ever been. I think last year we missed the opportunity to get a franchise quarterback. All I'm saying is that if you really want to build a team in the most conventional way to build a team, you build a team while you have a rookie deal, right? That frees up so much, in the cap space. You continue to use your picks and have picks. You can continue to even accumulate more picks. But you're doing all of that just like Miami did with Tua, just like the Rams are doing with Herbert, just like Cincinnati's doing with my man up there, Burrow. Bro, like that's the way it's done.
But that's also not a quicker path to victory for the Panthers.
But what you
it took Josh Allen 3 years to be able to turn it around and become the quarterback that he is today.
But check it out. Do you doubt that they're going to be in the playoffs next year?
Who?
The Bills.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying to you is you're going to have to give Malik Willis some time to get used to the NFL offenses. And by the way, Malik Willis is my number 1 rated quarterback in this year's draft, man.
Right.
Head and shoulders. So listen, I like Malik Willis a ton, man. I think he has a ton of potential. And if we don't land Deshaun Watson, I hope Malik is the backup plan. But I'm saying everything that y'all said about Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer is even doubly true if you're drafting a rookie quarterback. You're going to bring a rookie quarterback into a situation where the coach is going to be one and done.
That's a worse situation. Right. I'd rather have a vet in that situation than a rookie in that situation.
Right. So would you rather go with the proven product or the talented young guy who still needs a little bit of refining to his game. I'd rather pick the proven commodity.
I mean, and I agree with you. Logically, that makes more sense to have a veteran in that situation where you have a lame duck coach. But I think in this situation, what I'm hoping for with Ben McAdoo, I think he's the biggest unknown in the whole scenario. Ben McAdoo, through everything that you can research and find on Google about what he thought about Sam Darnold and what he thought about other prospects, he appears to be somebody who can really evaluate the QB position. But when I look back across his career, going back to Green Bay and then in New York, he was, I won't say forced because you're not forced to have to work with Aaron Rodgers, but he had the benefit of having Aaron Rodgers as his QB, right? And then he went to New York where he was an OC and then became a head coach, but he had an entrenched and aging veteran in Eli Manning. I think what I would like to see for Ben McAdoo is him work with a young guy. The one young guy that he actually worked with was who? Gardner Minshew. And Gardner Minshew had some of his best games under Ben McAdoo.
But that's not a selling point.
No, but check it. We're talking about a guy like Gardner Minshew was like a 6th round pick.
Yeah, but we're talking about Gardner Minshew.
But I'm talking about Gardner Minshew who's limited. I'm talking about Gardner Minshew who nobody really gave a chance to start games at the NFL level, but he ended up winning out the job over Nick Foles. If you take a guy like Malik Willis, it don't even have to be Malik Willis, but take a guy like Malik Willis, and if Ben McAdoo is actually talented at coaching young quarterbacks, bro, and everything is a big if. And I'm not, like I said, I don't know that this works, but just imagine how pretty of a position you'll be sitting in if McAdoo proves to be the guy that Matt Rule needs. And I'm not a big Matt Rule guy, but I would say this. If Matt Rule and Ben McAdoo, if that combo could take a rookie, can develop that rookie, and that rookie shows some ahead of the schedule progress in year one, then why not year two with them as a combo? Matt Rule had a chance to basically reset his whole coaching staff around him. Like, how many coaches get to do that?
It ain't necessarily a good thing, though.
It ain't necessarily a good thing, but I'm saying, like, if Tepper gave him the chance to do that, if Tepper allows him to draft a rookie, and I don't know that he wants to, he hasn't shown that he actually even desires to do that. But if he does it, if he takes a chance and they actually hit, I wouldn't mind McAdoo and Rule coming back for year two. I would think they have earned it. But that's if you're asking what's the alternative beyond Deshaun Watson, bro, before a few days ago, that's the only thing I could think about was what was the alternative besides that, because I couldn't think of Deshaun Watson. So why would I give up thinking about how we can get better without Deshaun Watson when Deshaun Watson wasn't even an option until Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
But he's an option now. And none of those guys that you mentioned are as good as Deshaun Watson. There's no guarantee that for as much as I like Malik Willis, there is no guarantee that he will be even half as talented as Deshaun Watson. And that's just being real.
Let me make this point about Malik Willis, and I'm going to stop talking about that, brother. The dude who coaches Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts, Trey Lance, and I think he even has some contact with Patrick Mahomes. Out of all them dudes I just named, he said Malik has done things that he hasn't seen the other ones do. Now you take that for what it is.
I like Malik. I do.
But it's definitely something we got to consider, right? I mean, I know some folks are all excited about Deshaun potentially coming. I mean, all they got to do is really close the deal at this point. And so I feel like, it should be discussed, right? The potential of Malik coming here. I'm not mad at it. I don't think that Rule is a viable head coach, and I just hate for Malik Willis to be trapped in that situation where you bring in similar to the way Justin Fields is right now. Justin Fields comes in, you got a new deal with a new head coach. You don't even know if that head coach is in his plans. Like, does he even like you? Right. Like that's something you have to consider. So I would hate that. And I feel like Deshaun gives you the best opportunity with this sucky head coach. I feel like he's going to be able to do better given that situation and survive what comes after Matt Rule if he does get fired. So I think Deshaun is a little bit more coach proof than Malik Willis would be.
No doubt. It's like getting Deshaun is like getting somebody like LeBron, and in year 5, like I mean, you can't knock that part. He's probably the most coach-proof player out there. But what you said earlier has a lot of validity. Like this is we never seen this before, but there's a reason for that too. And it's not just the dysfunction with the Houston Texans. Like, like
right.
Things have to go wrong, man. And I'm not, obviously I never bring a brother down playing that position. And I probably go too hard for brothers playing the position. But all I'm saying is that I don't know what happens if he comes here and then have a 5-win season again, like Dave mentioned, could happen, right? I don't know if you have a consecutive losing seasons in Carolina and the frustrations that start to mount when they realize they can't build around him. I don't think it ends pretty as people want to fantasize it ending. You know what I'm saying?
JJ,
like, that won't happen.
JJ, bro, this fan
fan
base would explode if this man gets traded to here and looks at that and that schedule happens. We got a tough schedule coming up in 2022.
We do, bro. We do.
And we trot out 5 wins.
Almost like you need Deshaun for a schedule like that.
But that's my thing.
Deshaun,
I think people are
Go
feeling.
ahead.
No, I think people are failing to realize that Deshaun Watson is a great quarterback. I'm not going to deny his greatness, but I think folks are failing to realize that Deshaun Watson is going to have to run into a very rough schedule. Like this man has played in a mediocre.
It's football, man.
Nah, I get all that, bro.
It's the NFL. What is this easy schedule? Like, come on, man. Like, you got to play football, man.
I don't give a damn what you say, bro. The AFC South has not been exactly the pinnacle of
they beat the Chiefs.
Division.
The last time Deshaun played the Kansas City Chiefs, they beat them. He's beaten all the best teams in football at least once. Like, the dude is JJ just compared him to LeBron. Like, if you have a chance to get a LeBron type of player on your football team, like, bro, I don't want to hear about no draft picks. I don't want to hear about none of that, man. What are the opportunities for you to get a player of that caliber? Me and Rashad just got done telling y'all, like, this has never happened before with the quarterback in his prime, top 5 in the NFL, and y'all just like, nah, we don't need him. Like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. What Panthers team?
No, I think you know what's funny, and you know what's funny.
No, what Panther team you watch? No, hold on a second, big. Come on, man.
Yeah, let Pat talk. Go ahead, Pat.
Okay, because it's like I said, I don't know which team Cody or anybody else who wants Deshaun has been watching. Okay, we need more than Deshaun. Y'all keep talking about LeBron. That is basketball. It's football. You still need a complete team, man. And for me, I would love Deshaun on this team, but it's about the risk for me. You know why a lot of people are leaning more towards Malik, because it's less risk for a front office that don't know what the heck they doing. Y'all want to risk all this stuff. Y'all talk bad about Matt Rule. Y'all talk bad about Tepper. And I'm be honest with you, Fitterer ain't showed me nothing yet. So y'all want to allow them to risk more because they ain't showed that they can win. Back-to-back 5-win seasons. They ain't showed that they could build a competent team yet. But you think Deshaun Watson, one freaking quarterback, who he good, but y'all act like this man.
Nah, he not just good.
Wait,
you act like he's gonna change the team.
All I'm gonna say is
he is. Pat, he really is though. Like,
come on, Cody. Come on, dog. Come on. Like,
we haven't had the franchise quarterback, Pat.
See,
bro.
Okay.
I think
like I said, I want us to get it. I want us to get the shine. Just so everybody can see and be reminded.
Y'all said y'all want it. It don't sound like y'all do, man.
Oh, I only want it so I can laugh.
I think
it's risk,
the problem.
Though.
No, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I think folks are feeling like, and it's funny because it's funny. Me and Rashad talked about the show beforehand, but like Bomani pretty much talked about how quick we just responded to the fact that, we're ready to just talk about what it'll take to trade for Deshaun, not thinking about the fact that this guy's going to get suspended. Like, I don't know why folks
that's true.
Don't realize this shit.
It's happening.
The man is going to get suspended.
He is.
And it might be 6. It's going to be a 6-game minimum, guys.
But
So
Cody,
we
get
out
a
here-
Deshaun Watson. I mean, get a Deshaun Watson Carolina Panther jersey. Just say that, Cody.
No, I think.
I mean, but
the
Deshaun
fan base
Watson's
don't
going to
realize.
last longer than the
Dog.
suspension's going to be for.
Right.
Again,
Yeah,
like y'all said,
I
they're
think
talking
it's-
about a 10+ year investment.
Yeah,
Dog.
I think
Dog,
the
if we-
potential
if-
the potential to
lose-
have Deshaun Watson for the next 10 years, I'm gonna take a 6-game suspension, bro.
So
Like,
y'all really
Yeah,
think y'all
fine.
really think we're gonna be able to keep Deshaun
now.
Watson for 10 years?
Ain't no
The
way.
Carolina
No,
Panthers.
I think so.
It gets better. No, it gets better, Pat. So now let's think about this for a second. Roger Goodell is sitting out here saying the heat he's getting about what he did with Calvin Ridley. Right? He's seeing Big Ben got this, Greg Hardy got that, Ray Rice got this. And you don't think he's gonna put some level of a hammer on this situation considering the circumstances? We ain't no major market team, bro.
So what?
They're gonna lay the hammer on Deshaun.
But
He's
Dave,
gonna
so
have to
what?
appeal.
Even
He's
if
gonna
he
have
gets
to-
suspended, so what? You're talking about an investment for the next
Let's do
5
it.
or more years, man.
I agree,
Like,
Cody.
Alright.
Let's do it. Let's do
Yo,
it.
I mean,
Ready.
like, you're
I'm so
talking about
freaking
the suspension. Like,
Have
so
more
what?
chaos.
Ben
Yeah, let's do it.
Roethlisberger was suspension. What was suspended? And look, no one talks about how he's for sure going to be a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer, whether or not you like Ben Roethlisberger or not.
Yeah.
So it's like, again, yes, it sucks, but so what? That suspension, these draft picks, whatever y'all are talking about being an obstacle to us getting Deshaun, like
Man, just get Deshaun.
none of it spells out to me, man.
That's what I'm
None of
talking
it.
here's my thing. Somebody said something. I want to respond real quick. Dog, you're right. It's speculation. I have no idea what happened with that case, but I can promise you this. Let me tell you something. Big Ben still got a couple games. Greg Hardy still got some games.
he's gonna get suspended.
And there
He's
was
gonna get
that was
suspended,
one
guys.
women.
I
That
think
was
6
one
games
women.
It wasn't one.
This man got 22.
My man got damn near. Y'all talking about him being compared to Jordan and shit. That man damn near got the number of women of his damn number. Like, we out here talking like we wild here. Like, let's be serious about this
So
situation.
can we talk about that, man?
Hold on,
Like,
I just seen
Rashad,
somebody. Hold on, I just seen a
Yeah.
comment said David Pat will be crying if Deshaun goes to the Saints. No, I wouldn't, dog.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll
Yo,
be honest.
what the-
I don't care that
ain't
much.
crying.
You know what I'm saying? Because I realize I don't think we could
Man.
afford them. But if they
No,
feel like they can
No, I'm
afford them,
lying. I'm lying like shit.
But that's
I don't cry.
blasphemous.
No,
I'm
no,
not
Pat,
Losing
Pat,
Deshaun
Pat,
to the
okay, well, let
Saints?
me.
I would
Like,
cry.
I don't know if y'all
whoa,
can tell.
bro.
If he
I
goes
don't
to
care.
Cleveland, if he
I
goes
ain't-
to Cleveland, I won't be angry. If he
Going
goes
to
to
NFC
Cleveland,
My
team,
feelings
bro.
gonna be hurt,
It's-
man. I'm
if
sorry.
he-
man.
I
It's
won't
going.
be
It's going to
angry.
be
If he goes
Carolina.
to the
It's going to be
Saints,
Carolina or the Saints, bro.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
the
that's
Saints
what I'm
and
saying.
Carolina.
It's down to our division rival. And by the way, the Saints have done nothing but own our ass for how many past few years? Like, y'all want to take another L on a franchise quarterback to the division rival that doesn't have Sean Payton? They don't have a top 10 pick in this year's draft. Like, come on, man. Like,
But bro, the
So
Saints
Cody,
don't need-
Cody,
they
I gotta
need to
ask an
look-
honest question with you, bro. If
yeah,
honest question, hear me out.
yeah.
If Matt Rule loses to Dennis Allen, excuse me. God,
What's that?
damn,
Dennis
no.
Green.
No,
Yeah,
not
God,
they are who we thought they were.
He
But
passed away.
if they lose,
RIP.
yeah, he did. Rest in peace
RIP
to Dennis
Dennis
Green. But if he lose to Dennis Allen, what should we do with this coach? I want to hear from you. I think we
Guys,
should clean the house.
Listen. If you
I'm
listen,
there.
if you listen to the C3 Panthers podcast, if you listen to PNP, if you listen to Pat, it's unanimous what Panther Nation thinks about Matt Rule. That isn't being lost on me. I understand that. Like, Matt Rule
Yeah, he
is not
sucks.
the ideal coach for anyone. What I am telling you is that a transcendent quarterback rises above all of those things, man. It doesn't matter who the head coach was. If you have a friend, like, look, what was the head coach, Bill O'Brien in Houston? Like, he wasn't some great head coach. You know what he did have, though? He had Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. Oh, also, he had Sean Ryan as the quarterback's coach, who now works here in Carolina. So it's like, I'm not worried about that, man. Matt Rule and this discussion means less than nothing to me, man. Because Deshaun, even if the worst happened, Deshaun's going to be here past Matt Rule.
That's a fact. I mean, that is, and I agree. Like, I don't like Matt Rule. I don't think he's a good coach, just personally. Nothing personal to him, but I just don't think he's that guy to take us to a Super Bowl. And so I feel like, and I said this before, Deshaun Watson is going to outlast any He's going to outlast Matt Rule. Like, and we've seen other franchise quarterbacks survive. Like Aaron Rodgers. How many coaches Aaron Rodgers has been through? Like, he's been through a lot of coaches. Like, we've seen that. So we've seen these head coaches, get fired with good quarterback play, and they move on, right? So I'm not concerned. That's why I think it's important that if you have the opportunity to get a Deshaun, you get him, because you won't have to worry about necessarily the quarterback or the head coach position or whatever.
Let me ask you this question just based on just sports history, right?
Sure.
Recent QB history. Which of those franchise quarterbacks, that we refer to, Aaron Rodgers, Andy Luck, anybody that's going through multiple quarterbacks, like how many of them were acquired via mega trade?
None of them.
None of them.
Yeah, exactly. We have nothing to compare it to.
We have nothing to compare it to, right? And I think that's the most risky thing that I can imagine for what we are planning for. Like, it's cool that this man is 26 years old, right? Super talented, all of that. But we are comparing his situation to quarterbacks that were drafted by the team and they never moved on, but the coaches may have moved on, but they were always there. They didn't give up anything to get these guys. Like, the only comparable situation would have been is if the Rams would have totally messed up, or Stafford would have flopped when he went out there, right? Or something else would have went awry, and then they would have regretted what they put in to get him. It worked out perfectly for them, but they were way, way, way better. They went to the Super Bowl with a marginal quarterback just a couple years ago. Like, they were built to win. We're nowhere near built on the same level of these teams that have recently acquired a quarterback and that pushed them over the top. We're not ready to go over the top with one guy. And that's
how many teams are really winning without a franchise quarterback? Like the Ravens with old buddy, like what's his name?
Old buddy, like Jackson ain't like a dude, right? I mean,
no. I'm talking about they won the Super Bowl.
Dilfer.
They won Flacco.
Yeah, Dilfer.
Giants,
and hey, even like Joe Flacco, like, you got to realize y'all were talking about football from a bygone era. That's not how football teams win anymore, man. Like, look at the San Francisco 49ers. That was their mindset. That's what they've been doing the past few years. A really strong run game, a dominant defense, a good play calling head coach, and a marginal quarterback that they hope could do just enough. And it still wasn't enough for them to do it.
We're not suggesting. Cody, stop right there. So we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers for a quick second right here. Some people think Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and I think he is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Dave in his bag.
That man ain't won a damn game against San Francisco.
Man.
That San Francisco 49ers that ain't really had a quarterback for a while. That man is 0-3 against the 49ers. That man has only been to the Super Bowl one damn time. He's only been there once. He's won one championship. He's won one. He's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's only won one chip. So that proves my point. And the 1 year that he won that shit, he had a pretty damn good defense with him. So, like, you gotta have pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah,
with a gunshot.
Yeah. All right, but
I ain't got him, Pat.
Patrick Mahomes has a Super Bowl ring, does he not?
And look what the fuck happened to him with the damn Bengals. The dude couldn't stop. The dude couldn't do shit in the second half against Cincinnati.
People were talking about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes being the number 1 and number 2 quarterback in the NFL even just a season or two ago. So why would that all of a sudden be different now, man? Like, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a good playoff record. That doesn't mean nothing for the Panthers.
Dog, we out here asking for Deshaun Watson. We out here asking for Deshaun Watson. That man is the starter full time with 4-12. You gotta have more than
one
that damn
season. A 3-time Pro Bowler, Dave. A 3-time Pro Bowler.
Fight back, Cody.
That 4-12.
Don't do that, Dave. Don't do that, Dave. Don't do that. You too loud, bro. You too loud, bro.
No, people talk about. No, I'm gonna say it's this. I'm gonna leave it as this. People talk about how impressive that 15-1 Carolina season was. People talk how great Cam Newton was. Cam Newton was the NFL MVP. You know what else he had? He had the second best defense in the NFL.
Let's go, Dave.
Let's go.
Let's keep this shit a book, guys. You saw what the fuck happened when you had Mike Rivers trying to guard Von Miller.
How about this? we didn't have one of the top defenses this year. So if we trade all these players away or don't, what's the difference? We were 0-4 to the NFC East, bro. We lost to the New York Giants. And y'all
I ain't seen 5 wins since 2017. I ain't seen more than 5 wins since 2017.
Brian Burns is not Julius Peppers, y'all. Derek Brown is not Vince Wilfork. Jeremy Chin is not Troy Polamalu. I love those dudes, but to everyone acting like these pieces of our defense are irreplaceable, that is just factually not true.
But we got to start replacing
Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo, dog, nah, I ain't gonna allow this shit. Jimmy Garoppolo just fucking led a damn team to a Final Four. You guys can't tell me shit saying you gotta build this team around somebody. Jimmy Garoppolo was just in the goddamn NFC Championship game. That man's been to a damn Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, guys. And this franchise thinks that he was gonna fix our problems. Now realize he's gotta have pieces around him.
He will never be Deshaun Watson. On Jimmy Garoppolo's best night, he will not come close to sniffing Deshaun's jockstrap, bro.
You mean like in a one-on-one basketball game? Like we talk about, or you mean like 40? You talk about the 49ers versus the Panthers. Like
out here, people thought
it's a team sport. Team sport, y'all. Team sport.
You know what I'm saying? And all them pieces you named that we need to replace, we can't. I agree. We need to replace them. But we ain't replacing them. We more focused on Deshaun Watson.
We're out here letting Hassan Reddick walk, Stephon Gilmore walk, Dante Jackson walk, and thinking that we're just gonna put some bums sitting out there, thinking that we're gonna be like, oh yeah, we can still get there with Deshaun.
Even if Deshaun
goes for 35, even if Deshaun gets 40 touchdowns, we can still go 5-12, bro. Like you guys are acting like we can't do that shit.
But y'all act like there's no scenario. You act like there's no scenario where the Panthers can't go 11-6 or win the division. When, by the way, no more Drew Brees.
Next year we go 11-6.
But y'all ain't got no vision. That's what the problem is.
Say it again. What did you say?
Y'all ain't got no vision, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Not with this front office.
This does not have to take as long as
y'all can use my laugh as a meme and we go 11-6.
11-6? Nah. I'm with you. I was with you, Cody, until you said that. We're not going 11-6. We need to see what's given up in the trade first before we talk about 11-6. We don't even know who's going to be involved.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Why can't the Panthers do what the Bengals did last year?
Because they want out the
quarterback. No, the Bengals did not run away with their division last year. Why couldn't the Panthers do the same thing?
You
have Christian McCaffrey.
You heard your
Robbie Anderson. Like you have the offense to be able to go.
Hey, they had a defense.
You heard yourself.
They had a defense.
You arguing with yourself now,
Cody?
Cody.
You heard yourself.
They had a defense.
The Panthers are a scheme-dependent defense.
Hey, Cody.
Bill Snow and Steve
no scheme
are going to determine if the Panthers are going to be successful on defense.
What's the scheme, bro?
There's no scheme.
Defense, man.
What's the scheme?
You don't shut down.
I'm telling you, man. Y'all are terrified.
I don't like this.
Of the
I don't like this, Cody. I don't like the way. I don't like this way. Rashad, you need to jump in there because you bought Cody on here,
bro. I'm gonna let you gotta let him speak his piece, man.
No, he had a defense.
The Panthers have not. The Panthers have not had a vertical passing attack since 2016.
You know who else had a vertical passing attack?
Bro, are y'all not done? Not being able to throw the football downfield.
Does that work in the code,
bro? The Panthers have an offense straight from the 1980s, bro. Like that's what the Carolina Panthers have been. You're never gonna take that next step forward unless you get the dude, man. Deshaun is that dude.
Bro, I swear to God.
So real quick,
if we
I agree with you, Cody.
Let me say this, and we'll say this.
Hey, man.
If we trade for Deshaun, let me tell y'all something right now. And I want you guys to look. And I want you guys to record this shit. And if I'm wrong, I'll own up to the shit. If we trade for Deshaun Watson, we out here trotting 5-12, 6-11, 7-10. I'm going to remind y'all this shit right here.
You already do that. You don't have to worry people about that.
I have all of y'all on film saying
I'm just here to help.
Maybe not Rashad, but I have everyone on here saying that Deshaun Watson does not put this Carolina team over the edge. So, hey, I'll be wrong if I'm wrong, but y'all are on the camera saying that y'all don't think that Deshaun's going to be able to put us over the edge. So if we do draft Deshaun, and y'all are wrong, no,
bro,
we got
the
the
problem
evidence, bro.
I got a couple problems with you. I got a problem like Cody, and I respect you, bro. And there's no question about that. But here's my problems. Here's my first problem. Our head coach hasn't changed, bro.
Right.
Our head coach hasn't. Our head coach hasn't changed.
Our
head coach hasn't changed.
That's why I'm not with the win total because of that right there. That dude is still the coach.
Like I think people
Deshaun
think
can overcome that, man.
Nah, fam.
Nah.
After he's fired, he can overcome that shit.
Deshaun ain't managing the clock. Like he not calling the timeouts and blowing timeouts. He not calling the defense.
I can see it now.
Matt Rule's a problem, bro.
I can see it right now. We out here against a game against like the Broncos or some shit. We in a game. We sitting up here and like Matt Rule's doing Matt Rule things and the Matt Rule. So then at some point, we're gonna see Deshaun on the camera yelling at Matt, and then the season ends and we out here mediocre as shit, and we're gonna be wondering why the fuck Deshaun wants to get traded again, and we all gonna be looking like, yo, we just gave up 3 first-round picks for this guy.
Y'all are speaking from a place of fear.
No. We're not. We're speaking from a place of reality, man. It's reality, dog. Cody, hey, listen, Cody. Listen, Cody. I'm with you. Hey, Cody, I'm with you on Deshaun, but I can't get with you on magically summing up some magical being or power that Matt Rule is going to be able to actually coach.
All of a sudden,
because he can't
this
coach.
man's going to be this
I'm not
elite
with
head
you
coach.
It's like
He's got a quarterback.
I ain't with you on
I
that.
told you earlier, though, if Deshaun can or can't overcome Matt Rule, it doesn't matter because we're gonna have Deshaun a lot longer.
That I agree with.
Have Matt Rule's old dusty ass.
I agree with you there.
So then we ask the question. Cody.
7
You're
years.
right. I don't disagree with you, bro. We know that we're gonna have Deshaun Watson longer than Matt Rule. So if Matt Rule comes out here and tries a 5-12 record with Deshaun Watson, we have a first-round pick and potentially a second-round pick that is going to go to somebody else, knowing that we got pieces to fix.
Later, bro. Later to them first-round picks, dog.
Hey,
we gonna find. All right, so
bump them picks.
Hey, so real quick, I didn't get a chance to get this.
Man, this ain't
question
Chappelle show, bro. This ain't
an Dave, hold on. Hold on, real quick. I didn't get a chance to get this out earlier, but quickly, because I'm gonna cut this off at 10:30. We've been going for a long time. Who from the defensive side of the football? We talked about some guys that will be included potentially.
Yeah.
Who
is off limits to you?
J.C. Horn.
100% J.C. Horn.
The reason why
he might fam.
That's
he
it?
on the list. He on the list, bro.
The reason they got to J.C. Horn, bro, is because
we ain't got no corners.
We saw the 2020 version of the Phil Snow defense, right? They couldn't get to the quarterback because they couldn't play man-to-man coverage. There's a reason why J.C. Horn was picked before Rashawn Slater, before Justin Fields.
Don't remind me.
I mean, I know, and I don't necessarily agree, but I do know that they felt like they had to get either J.C. Horn or Pat Surtain because they felt like they couldn't play the defense that Phil Snow wanted to play without a man-to-man corner. So since they didn't get rid of the coach, since Phil Snow is still the defensive coordinator, and right now we're hanging our hopes on them finding some type of success, they can't give up the guy that allows them to play they want to play the way they want to play. So J.C. Horn is the only dude that you can't touch. And the other reason is J.C. Horn is so rare of a talent if he's healthy, to where you can't find them guys all the time either. I mean, I know it's not like a quarterback position, but J.C. Horn, if he's right, he could be generational, bro. And you don't want to give that up without getting 5 years of that on the cheap.
Yeah, I mean, a shutdown corner is so valuable in today's NFL, man. And he was my favorite press corner in last year's draft. He was my number 1 corner. I liked him better than Patrick Surtain. J.C. Horn's a dog, man. He just had that unfortunate injury last year. But everybody's looking for a shutdown corner, man. Like the Chargers just signed J.C. Jackson today. That was a good pickup for them. Look at the Rams with Jalen Ramsey. Like having that guy that can take a receiver out of the football game entirely, that's important to have, man. And you know, he's so young on top of that. Like, yeah, you have to bet on that kind of talent. I'm gonna be real with you. I think he's far more, and I love Jeremy Chin. He's been the hardest player on our defense the past 2 or 3 years in a row, however long we've had Jeremy Chin. But I mean, the facts of the matter are a shutdown corner is a lot harder to find in the draft than a really good safety prospect. So I think out of everyone in our backfield, no one is more important than JC Horn right now.
And that's
just
all
real
good,
quick-
man. I'm gonna just tell you, that's all good, but the man only played 3 games. Man, I get what you're saying, though. He does have a lot of potential, but I'm gonna be honest. The main reason they can't let him go because they'll look crazy for trading JC Horn after passing on a Pro Bowl tackle. You can't trade him now. You got the right with that.
But bro, the thing you're failing to realize, Pat, is that you got to understand that Tepper wants this guy. He doesn't care what it takes. So I don't think JC Horn is off the table. So I don't think you guys are in some crazy levels of denial.
Man,
do I think it's wild? Do I think they shouldn't do it? No, I don't think they should. But don't be shocked if they do. Don't be shocked if they do.
That would be crazy, bro.
That would be crazy.
Dog,
that would be hilarious, but that seems like something they would do. To be honest,
the only reason why I don't think it's going to happen, guys, is because of the fact that we've let AJ Bouye go. Dante Jackson is about to go into free agency. I don't think they have a choice. Don't you think for a fact if Carolina has that pressure that their hand is forced? Like if Deshaun says he wants to go to New Orleans or Carolina, and Deshaun's out here offering and the Saints are offering X, and then that makes Carolina feel like they gotta offer more. Like, don't be shocked, guys. We're gonna give up 2 defensive starters in this trade.
Go on real quick. Let JJ go. Let JJ go real quick. Go ahead.
Hey, he just made me think of something, man. That's like really making me sick to my stomach right now. Right?
Is it Deshaun and the Saints jersey and the thumbnail in front of us?
No, bro. Like I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, right? Because this is the way I think. I mean, I know people don't really know me outside of Twitter, but I'm a really competitive dude, right? So Deshaun being in the Saints jerseys means that's another dude that we got to beat. I don't care about that. But the thing that made me sick was this. Like, I hope that Houston didn't put the Saints in this race just to make a fool of Tepper.
Oh, yeah. There's not a doubt in my mind again.
That's viable.
Either that or
that ain't a doubt in my mind, bro.
Wait, but JJ, either that or the New Orleans Saints are just trying to drive up the price on the Panthers.
Because they play this game with each other. This version of the Panthers and the Saints, they have been playing these little draft mental games with each other.
That's true.
Yeah,
great
point.
And so all of a sudden, when they realize that the Panthers are desperate, now they put their names in the hat.
That's a great point.
And Cody falling for it.
Yeah, and every time Tepper gets close to what he thinks he has, prepared to make the best offer ever, then all of a sudden the Saints offer more. And then Tepper's like, oh, I throw in this guy, I throw in this, I throw in that. And then all of a sudden, once the Saints have gotten the Panthers giving up the most crippling package ever, they pull out and say, we don't want it.
Yo, it's an excellent point. I've seen that.
A lot of people believe that.
A lot of people believe that.
I've seen that. I've seen it.
Nobody's really thinking about this, bro. Like, Houston, like, everybody thinks Houston got all this leverage. They don't. Deshaun has all the leverage.
Deshaun has all the leverage.
Deshaun has every single piece of
leverage.
I don't know how much
we can offer Houston a bag of peanuts, and then Houston's got to make a decision whether or not what they're going to pay him.
Houston has to agree to trade him, Dave. Houston has to say, okay,
but so does Deshaun.
We're going to execute on this trade. Right, but we know Deshaun's willing to go to Carolina or New Orleans. So, like, this no trade clause thing, that's not even an issue for us anymore.
But it's no game for anybody without competition, bro. Like, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, in order to drive the price up, you have to have competition. And sometimes you can collude with somebody to come in and help you drive the price up just as a willing partner.
True.
What I'm saying is nobody ever heard a thing about the Saints being interested in Deshaun Watson.
That's a fact.
Until Friday.
It's a fact.
Until Friday, maybe early Saturday or whenever. But all of a sudden, the Carolina Panthers, Division 4, is the only one that's competing with them. You got to ask yourself, are they really serious or are they really trying to hurt us? When somebody sees somebody desperate as our owner has been, this dude was out here telling people, and Rashad was at training camp the day I was there. That day, somebody really, 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 really vital to the Panthers start talking to me and said, I asked them like this, and I'm going to let y'all go on this. I said this story to a couple people. I won't ever say the name. I was like, man, I said, what you going to do in your position when, we don't really have a franchise space? I said, what you think about Sam being that? He was like, nah, Sam ain't going to never be that. This is before the season.
Damn.
I said, so what about Christian? Christian don't really have the personality for it. I said, so we got to go with a defensive guy like Jeremy Chin is really good with the fans and whatnot. He's like, yeah, but he really ain't like a star. I said, Brian Burns got the dances, he got the moves, whatever. Yeah, but Brian ain't it either. I was like, so what we gonna do, bro? What you gonna do in your role and what you do for the Panthers? I was like, how you gonna market this? He was like, Tepper's gonna get Deshaun. He wants him.
Who told you that again?
I can't tell you.
He tried to get it. He tried back. He tried back.
But Shaw knew I was there.
Yeah,
I was there that day.
So you saw him shot. You saw who said it. Man, just say it.
No, I don't know. I don't know who he's talking to.
This was July. Dude assured me, he's like, the only thing dude waiting for is the price to drop. And Tepper been on Deshaun like a dog since last January or whenever he didn't get Stafford. So this is what you got to ask yourself, bro. If JJ Hardy knows that, little nobody from Carlisle, South Carolina, knows that Tepper.
Shout out to Carlisle.
You don't even know where it's at.
No,
just think about Chester. just think about between Columbia.
I bet they got a Bojangles.
Between Columbia and Charlotte, we ain't got no Bojangles, bro. We ain't got no.
That's a long, fam.
You say
Chester?
That's a long range, bro. That's an hour.
That's wild.
We in Union County, but look here.
I know where that's at.
Union County, right beside Chester. Right beside Chester.
I know where that's at.
Chester small.
So check it out. 400 people, bro. Well, 399 because I left. Look, if I knew that, right, regardless of this little Panthers culture thing, I do whatever. If JJ Hardy knew that, and I came and tweeted y'all. Every time there came up some news, I said, Tepper want this dude, bro. Like, don't let what they tell you. Person came out around November, didn't he, and said, hey, look, the Panthers are out on Deshaun. I said, that's a lie. If JJ Hardy knows that Dave Tepper wasn't gonna let up on Deshaun Watson, everybody around the league, and they're telling you every day, the Panthers gonna be aggressive. The Panthers gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna tell y'all another thing. Back last March, I got a text. They said, JJ, get ready because I know you've been kind of like, wanting draft.
I need some sources, man.
Whatever. Hey, look, I'll tell you offline. I'll tell you this one offline. Look. They said, get ready.
Tell me after he tells you.
They said, get ready because Dave Tepper is about to go full court press on Deshaun.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm telling y'all, no joke. The next day, as I was preparing to get my mind right so I could tweet about it, the news hit about his cases, about the first case. And then it continued to avalanche into what we know today. And they had to back off of it. But Dave Tepper always had this mindset that the only way I'm going to get Deshaun is if I publicly showed affection for him. Mm-hmm. Because there's no other way to convince him other than showing him that I want him the most, right? So even when things were looking bad in terms of his case and nobody knew which direction it was going to go, like in July, Dave Tepper was still out there pursuing the cat, bro. And nobody knew. And so everybody around the league has known for 12 months or more that that's Dave Tepper's dude. Why you think the Saints suddenly enter the story right after everything comes out? Because they know, hey, look, if we don't get Deshaun, we're going to make that Dave Tepper do something so idiotic to where if they get him, we ain't going to have to worry about it. We ain't going to have to worry about them. We ain't going to have to worry about their ability to win. And honestly, that helps two teams. They help the Houston Texans. It helps the Houston Texans because the worse we are after the trade, the better those
their draft position. Yep.
Mhm.
And then it helps the Saints because after we've given up so much, they ain't got to worry about us in that division, even if we get Deshaun.
Mhm.
So don't y'all want the Saints to be wrong? Like that should give us even more fire.
It ain't about. It's about reality, man. Bump what you want. It's just
Man,
reality of it. Don't even, like I said, the risk is too high. It don't even make
That's
sense
not
to
even
me. But
necessarily the reality of it, man.
It's the
Like,
game within the
reality.
game, bro. It's a game within the game.
That's true. It's a great point, man. It's a great point. And Saints be playing chess, man. And I wouldn't. You know how the Saints roll, man. I wouldn't put none of this past them, man.
You can't.
None of it.
You
None
can't.
of it.
Nope, sure
None of
won't.
it.
Can't
All right.
trust
So
them.
So we'll go back. We'll go around the table one quick time. Final thoughts on Deshaun potential. Because listen, on Twitter, I just saw a tweet that said that the Panthers are optimistic. I guess they did meet with him this evening, supposedly.
Yeah,
and
this young lady is out here gotten the scoop,
Natalie.
man.
Yeah, and this Natalie lady.
Natalie Miller got
let me
this
shout
scoop,
her out.
and I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah, now
I don't even know who she is, bro. I ain't never heard of her until like the couple.
Nah,
couple
she
days
works
ago.
for Cat Crave. She works for Cat Crave. I mean, she got some folks in that building.
She
Yeah,
didn't
she's
before,
got-
but
yeah, she has real sources, man.
yeah,
She's been in on a lot of different things that have happened. So,
but she called the Deshaun situation before, and and I've talked to her offline. She does have sources, but I've seen
I ain't got no sources, man.
I've seen things that she said, even though it wasn't because she was wrong, but just because somebody has sources, things change, right? Carolina Panthers was the favorite just 2 days ago, but now the Saints are. So
You know what's funny? Sheena just posted recently too that she's known about the fact that we're meeting today with Deshaun, and she didn't post it. She showed the receipts too, because just so you know.
Hey, how much sources cost, man? Like,
I
where
know,
you
man.
man.
Ain't
Is
got
there a
no- we got
social
a
media
team.
site for that?
I'll tell y'all boys this, and I know y'all probably got. I mean, man, Shaw be talking to everybody.
Man, I ain't got no sources,
Don't
bro.
sleep,
Nah,
don't
we
sleep
ain't
on,
got no sources.
Don't sleep on Shaw and Dave, y'all. But look,
Nah, I ain't got no
but look,
sources, dog.
I would tell you this, and nobody
talk
people
to
don't
me.
have to believe me because people like to clown Panthers culture sometimes. Brad, like people will hit you up. People will tell you certain things. But my thing is, and somebody told me this early when I started doing Panthers culture. They said, look, the best way to keep sources is to not reveal them.
Not reveal them, yeah.
Facts.
But that's why I ain't got no
nobody
sources,
else
because
Hey, look,
I be telling everything.
And I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. I would
And
get
it'd be on
something-
accident.
I would get
Nah, it
something-
won't be an accident. He on purpose for me.
Yeah.
This dude told me,
Right.
just to show off.
Yeah, look, I have been told things, bro, that I knew was gonna go one way, and I still go out there and tweet the thing that I want to happen, even though it goes against my better judgment and what I actually know is going to happen. Because I ain't gonna stop putting the energy that I want to happen out there, right? Somebody can tell
That's
me
what Cody doing.
That's what Cody doing.
Yeah, Cody trying to
I'm
manifest stuff.
manifesting, y'all. That's the word of the day. It's manifestation.
I respect it,
you know?
Cody.
Well,
I
manifest
respect
the
it.
Super Bowl.
Deshaun
How about I say
Watson
Carolina
to
Panthers get a Super
Charlotte,
Bowl?
bro.
I respect you, bro. I respect you for doing it. I mean, look, I won't knock
Somebody
anybody
gotta do
to get energy. Somebody got to
That's
do it.
Right.
Somebody got to do it. I
Right.
just hope that people, whatever happens, right? Deshaun, if we wake up tomorrow to news that Deshaun, and this is my take, so I'll go ahead and take this moment.
Sure.
If we wake up to news tomorrow that the Panthers have traded for Deshaun Watson, I'm gonna say it here, probably more outright than I'll tweet about it. I'm gonna root for the Carolina Panthers, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it ain't gonna stop me from being happy that we scoring touchdowns. I'm not gonna go out there hoping that the Panthers lose because Deshaun Watson is our quarterback. Like, nah. Like, I want the team to win because this is my home and this is the team I chose to support, right? And so I wish, and I know it's not gonna happen because like a lot of people on Twitter don't have any emotional intelligence. I just hope that everybody can take, whatever that. I mean, celebrate if it's something like Cody. You've been manifesting this energy. I don't mind that you celebrate.
Oh, he gonna take a whole victory lap.
But don't make
Oh,
but be mindful, right? As much as you can to anybody listening, anybody that tweets, anybody on Facebook or whatever y'all do, to express yourselves about the Panthers. Like, just be mindful that there is a subset of because Cody, you mentioned it. You produce content. Sharp produces content. Pat produces content.
Not no more.
Man, you do.
No
do.
Lies.
Hey, look, but
Lies,
check it. But I never knew that Panthers culture would become anything. And it's still just somebody that gets on every day and talk junk, and every once in a while I make a t-shirt. But look at here. I know that people pay attention to what we say because you create content, right? So there's a responsibility that comes with that. And I think that responsibility should just be mindful, that you can get a win. Deshaun is a win on the football field for the Panthers all day at that quarterback position. We don't know what's going to happen with wins and losses because there's so much more that needs to happen for him to be successful, for the Panthers to be successful. But as much as you can, man, some people are feeling really crazy about it. And that's been real, and that's been relayed to me by people I respect. And so how you run your victory lap, just be mindful that there's people out there that might be feeling a little way about that, so don't make them feel crazy because they might be feeling crazy. It don't help anything, right? And so that's all I got to say on it, bro. I already said what I said about the picks. I think football-wise, in terms of planning for the future, it's not the way I would build the team, but it is what it is. I learned after them billboards and everything else that was trying to be done for Cam, I have no control over what this team does. I just have desire.
Yeah.
That's it.
Big
Good
fact.
point.
JJ, you need a channel, man. JJ need a YouTube channel.
Nah, bro. I'm old, dog.
Anybody who want to go next? Final thoughts.
I
Go
go.
ahead,
I
Cody.
go.
I knew y'all was waiting for me to go. I was wanting to see who else would pop
I
up.
go. I hope we get Deshaun, man.
And nobody believes you, Pat.
He just want to stick around to see this drama and this shit fall apart like the Roots.
Pat,
He out here. He just want to see this thing fall apart.
No one believes you're not doing YouTube no more, and no one believes what you say about Deshaun, bro.
No, honestly, I kind of like what JJ said. I'm gonna stick around, man. I'm more interested in what we're gonna do. I don't think it's a smart move for them to do it, but like y'all know, they're gonna do what they want to do. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't got nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be honest, I really don't care. I know I've been saying that all show. I really don't care because I really don't trust this team to make the right moves anyway. Even if they get Deshaun, they're gonna mess it up somehow. That's what they've shown me in the past 2 seasons, man. So I'm trying not to get excited. I feel myself getting upset every now and again, so I have to kind of dial it back. But I try not to get excited because I just feel like it's just nothing good is going to come from it anyway. If we get Deshaun, yay. If we don't, yay. Well, I mean, it's just that's just where I'm at, man. I'm more in the middle. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm more in the middle. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Respect.
Cool. So I guess it's my turn.
Yep.
Look, man.
But one more thing. I'm just fine.
So look, a few weeks before the draft last year, we got notified that the Carolina Panthers traded for Sam Darnold. And look at the hell that we went through because of that, and how much egg we wore on our face because of that decision by the Carolina Panthers. If you wake up tomorrow or anytime in the next few days and see that the Carolina Panthers have traded for Deshaun Watson, y'all compare those two things, right? We could be looking at this next season with Sam Darnold as our quarterback, or a proven top 5 commodity at the most important position, arguably in all of sports, in Deshaun Watson, y'all. Everybody, I want everyone to just pump the brakes. If we trade for Deshaun, it's gonna be all right, man. It's acceptable to be excited. You're allowed to anticipate this, and you're allowed to think that this is the best thing for the Panthers franchise going forward, man. I do. I make no qualms about it, man. I want this to happen so bad. If this podcast has not made that apparent to y'all, I don't know what else I could say, man. I need this to happen, man. That's my college team. That's my pro team. That's like the coming together of 2 worlds for me, man. So I would absolutely love this. And I think this puts us over the edge, man. Bring Deshaun Watson back to the Carolinas, bro. That's all I got to say. Check out the C3 Panthers podcast, y'all.
Hey, Cody, before you go ahead, brother, I'm going to have to go talk to my ancestors tonight, man, because I don't think I've ever been in a room where one of my white brothers has been advocating for a black quarterback.
Man. Hey, welcome to the cookout, dog.
And I'm conflicted, bro. You know what? You get the permanent cookout pass, Cody. I know that you kind of wild out all the time, but today is a monumental moment in my time as a football fan, as a quarterback stand. I have never been in a place where I've had somebody of the other race advocating for one of our
We
black
look like a whole bunch of Jason
Boy.
Whitlocks up here, man.
Bro, like you got me out here looking kind of.
That might be the nicest thing.
I want
ever
Deshaun
said
Watson,
to me,
man. I don't know what I was thinking, man.
Bro, hey,
Bro,
look,
Deshaun
hey,
Watson.
real talk. All I do is quarterback
Pat
for
is
black
a fool,
quarterback.
bro.
It was Cam Newton. That's what started my love of the Carolina Panthers. I wanted us to draft Justin Fields last year. Malik Willis is my number one this year. Bro,
I missed the point, man.
Hey,
bro.
bro,
Yo, Pat, stupid, man. God, you a fool, bro.
Y'all look like Jason
Yeah,
Whitlock.
Jason Whitlocks.
Y'all look like that,
Yo,
God.
son,
man,
you
y'all
like
like-
that.
Y'all look like
Yo,
a
you-
Acho brother.
hey, you out your brother,
Bro.
bro.
You Acho
Show,
brother.
yeah.
Acho might be the worst, man.
He
When
might
you sit
be.
and think
I
about
think
it,
Jason Whitlock's still up there, but Acho
no,
is
but
pretty bad.
Acho gets way more attention than Jason nowadays. That's what makes it worse.
Pat Acho.
I'll
Man.
be
I'm
Acho.
JJ Acho, though.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's funny.
Acho brother.
Hey,
That
Dave,
makes you, man.
Dave, final thoughts.
Look,
He's
man,
still sipping.
I've been
It's gonna be
sipping
all right,
for a
Dave.
while now. Yo,
It's gonna
look,
be
this
all right,
conversation is
Y'all done
forced
killed
to-
my
yo,
buzz, man. That junk done
Yo,
come and
nah,
go.
no, you killed your own buzz when I have a liquor in front of you, but it's okay.
It's
So-
gone now.
So the dilemma I have is that I understand how great Deshaun is. I'm not doubting how good Deshaun is, right? But my dilemma is that I have the fear that we're going to end up just like Houston, not being able to get people around him, and it's not going to equate to wins. That's my biggest fear more than anything else. I think if we're going to go after Deshaun, we got to make sure we put the pieces around him. Having Deshaun is not enough. That's all I'm saying. I think there's this false perception that if we get a quarterback that's going to fix our problems, and then what's going to happen is we're going to get a quarterback and realize that we have a lot of problems. And it's going to show in the wins and losses. We have a tough schedule coming up this year, guys. We're playing 3 out of the final 4 teams in the NFL next season. We got the 49ers, we got the Bengals, and we got the Rams next season. And we have the Broncos, who now just have Russell Wilson. We don't have an easy schedule.
The Bucs
Brady's
twice.
coming back. Now, I'm just trying to just let you guys know and understand that this isn't going to be an easy path. So, like I was taught when we were discussing before, when I thought Deshaun wasn't even going to be an option, I legitimately thought 3-14 was coming for us. Like, if we don't figure out the quarterback situation, 3-14 is imminent. And if you guys think Deshaun's that good to equate to 4 or 5 wins, fine. 8 and 9. But that was before Brady came back and thought 8 and 9 would be a shot to win a division. So for me, it's like, all right, we go 8 and 9. All right, we ain't going to really, we'll make sure that Houston doesn't have a good pick, a top 10 pick anymore, but it's still not where we want to be as a franchise. So it makes me so conflicted on the situation at hand when they tell us to wait, Rome ain't building a day, and now we're like, oh, now we about to go full, we're going to go all in. So that's just why I'm like so conflicted about the Deshaun Watson. I think it's going to happen within the next 2 days. Like, I think Deshaun's going to be a Panther.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, JJ.
I'm sorry, bro. I just wanted to make sure I did this before I forgot. And it's not to add anything, but I'm gonna give y'all a nugget. And we talked about having sources, right? I tweeted earlier, that I'm gonna say this because I don't want to tweet it. And so if you're listening, then you got like a little gem. It ain't guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
But I know that the checklist included a free safety. The checklist included a linebacker, but before the linebacker is a left tackle. They feel really good about a certain left tackle that's a free agent from the NO.
Armstead.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Teron Armstead, free agent.
It's Armstead.
And so optimism is high, but it's the number 2 priority after QB and what they're trying to do with Deshaun. So I don't know if it's an either or, but they feel really good about where they stand. Again, that's just sauces, right? But I'm telling you, like that's on the agenda. And there's been discussions. It ain't been brought home yet, but it's just something to think about. If we don't get Deshaun, I think that's still very real and still very possible. And then try to start thinking about like how do we build through the draft, given that we could get this left tackle.
Oh,
So
so
that's just
look,
a
now I'm
nugget.
slow. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
So,
confirm. I'm with you,
saying,
Pat. I'm with you, Pat. Let's clarify this
so you
because I
saying,
caught it, but I ain't sure.
yeah. So
No,
you
I caught
saying
exactly what you said, JJ.
they
Yeah.
targeting Armstead?
Yes.
Correcto. Yes. That's why you haven't seen him fly. You haven't seen any news about who's arguably
Look here
the
now.
top tackle.
If we can do that, if we can do that, and it's not possible. Y'all know the money, and get what you call it.
What's
Watson.
McCall? What's McCall?
What's his name?
What's McCall?
Watson. Could we do it? Y'all know the money. Man,
Is
look
it
here,
possible?
man.
I
If
don't.
we do
I
that,
don't know.
If we do that, I won't say nothing bad the rest of the season about this daggone front office.
Nah, F that.
That's
Yo,
enough right
Pat.
there.
Pat, F all that.
Okay.
If our defense can't catch a cold, if we
man, I
can score
forgot.
30, if we can score 30, we can give up 35. What difference does it make?
Oh Lord, man.
And next year's free agency gonna be lit.
I'm just letting y'all know. So like, you ain't gotta talk about it now. You ain't gotta tweet about it. But when it happens, then y'all give your boy a shout out.
I give you a shout. Give him a
sure.
shout out. I
1,000.
give you a shout out, man.
Absolutely.
You
Look,
heard it here first.
I want it. I want that to happen. I've been kind of like a little giddy about that all night. I tweeted like this little Grinch heart saying I was getting kind of happy, you know, and it wasn't just about what we had already done. It was about what we could possibly do. Yeah. I mean, we look like a legit team with, you know, like at least the offense with, we got Armstead at left tackle and Moulton on the right and got this dude Corbett at guard. And maybe Christensen slide into left guard.
It still had decent depth with Deontay, Elflein the center. That's not a bad situation.
That's not shabby.
Exactly, man.
And then you still get to keep. You still got CMC, right? If he's still around, if he's not traded, I know he hasn't restructured yet, so you got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
And then you still got DJ, and I don't know what's going to happen with him. I think offensive, and I said this on a previous stream. I said it 1,000 times. This is what the Panthers do. We go all in on one side of the football and then tend to forget like the other problems.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we can fix everything and walk and chew gum at the same time, because we're going to create a hole, or we have created holes on the defensive side of football. We need to make sure we can't forget about those holes if we're going to be successful. Because like everybody's saying, we got a tough schedule, and I think Deshaun does give us an opportunity to at least hang in there, right? He's going to give us a better opportunity to win than Sam Darnold. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah, I think the thing with Armstead is that I don't know if the Saints, if they're really pursuing Deshaun, can afford to bring him on salary wise and then bring Armstead back. But I feel like Deshaun should want Armstead, right? So I don't know what's happening. Just know that out of our priorities that we have left, like the things that we got today weren't, 1 and 2 on the priority list. Number 1 is Deshaun. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is Armstead. I just put out left tackle on my tweet. That left tackle I was referring to is one left tackle. They might go and find another one, but they hope that they can get that guy.
And Rashad, can I add one more thing real quick?
Sure,
if I'm Deshaun, I legit think that the Panthers have a better offense for him than the New Orleans Saints do. I mean, you look at Christian McCaffrey, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore. We haven't seen the best out of Terrace Marshall and Shi Smith. Like, I mean, to me, you have Michael Thomas, and you don't even know what Alvin Kamara, how long he's going to be suspended next year too. So it's like, they're going to have to trade away players as well. If we're giving up our defensive guys, that means we keep our offensive line the same, and we're adding more like we saw today. We might get Armstead, like JJ says. Like, to me, that's an offense I want to be a part of. So
Armstead, I think is going to be the factor overall, right? Like, I don't think Deshaun Watson is silly, right? I think he knows he's got to have an offensive line to protect him.
They made the presentation today, right? So I'm pretty sure they went up to Deshaun and said, this is the plan. We're going to do this, check this box. We got you. And so another question I've seen this thrown around today was the fact that Laremy Tunsil might be, I know they're trying to offload
that contract too.
Yeah, they want to dump his contract. So could he potentially be in this too? That's something nobody's talking about. So
that'd be insane.
I think he's a little bit overrated, to be honest with you, but he's way better than anything we have on our roster. So I'll leave it that, but a little bit overrated. But all right, let's close this thing out because I gotta go to bed. But listen, this was dope. I'm cool with Deshaun. I was on the fence for a long time. The whole moral thing. I'm one for people getting second chances.
I got a daughter, bro.
I feel you, bro. I'm one for allowing people because nobody in this room is never gonna know what really went down. So, and I look at the NFL. I tweeted this earlier in the Panthers group chat. I look at the creators group chat. I look at the NFL as entertainment. I don't look at the NFL to be a moral compass for me. I have my own set of thoughts, and I can think independently. Yeah. I'm not looking for the NFL to make a determination of what I think is moral or immoral. And so I don't expect them to, handle everything with the proper care, because if that was the case, a lot of people would have not been viewing the NFL due to Colin Kaepernick. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't look at the NFL. I don't look at the NFL to be a moral compass. Go ahead, Dave.
Now here's my dilemma, and this is my problem. We talked about it, we joked about it. We joked, but also promoted Underdog Fantasy about it when it came to Calvin Ridley. But the reality is that the fact that Calvin Ridley was suspended indefinitely, people are saying that he's going to be back in 2023. No. That's not a guarantee, guys. That's the 1 year is the minimum. The NFL still got to reinstate this man. So this man has been suspended indefinitely because of gambling. We got folks here that are dealing with civil cases when it comes to sexual assault, and he's only going to get like 6 or 8 games. I'm afraid that we're going to trade for this guy, and Goodell's going to hit the hammer on us. I'm very concerned about that.
Hey, look, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and this is just a little nugget to think about with the Deshaun case, right? A lot of people believe, whatever they believe about the allegations, and some of them probably are flawed, right? Like a lot of people see opportunity, and they say, okay, like if she said it, well, me too. Let me go out there and say it, because even though my situation wasn't as bad, it's an opportunity for me to go ahead and make some bread real quick, right? That could have happened with him. I'm not saying that it did or didn't, but it could have happened. I remember reading an article last summer, spring, whenever. It was about a lady who had an encounter with him, but she wasn't part of the 22. And she wasn't going to put herself in that situation because she just didn't want to, right? Everybody handles trauma differently. I think the thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is, let's get through these 22 civil suits or whatever. He may settle, and I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't even want to try to even sound articulate like I am. I don't know. But what if it's not over? Like, what if we don't know everybody yet? What if somebody real vindictive or whatever is waiting for him to get to the other side and then come out and say, me too? What's going to happen?
It don't really go away, man. We think about Cosby and R. Kelly. It's always somebody that continuously comes out, right?
But my only thing is, if there's someone out there that has tangible evidence that can actually get Deshaun either thrown in jail or whatever, then they should have come forth by now, because this was the time. This was the time. I know you can't make it do it. But what I'm saying is like, what are the chances of down the road? I'm saying, hold on. I'm saying, what are the chances that someone down the road comes forth with even more credible evidence than any of these 22 women were able to produce? It's like, if you had something that could put him in jail, then their opportunity to do that was now.
I know females that have been through it, bro, that haven't reported it. It's not, fam. It's tough. That's tough. That's hard. Like that is tough. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. I can't. There's no timeline of shit like that, because there's a level of trauma that we cannot relate to as men. That's
facts. That's facts.
Like
that's facts.
That's I can't roll that way. Like, we don't know. Like, and I'm not saying Deshaun.
We don't know.
Still allegedly. We don't know. But at the same time, we can't assume that there aren't other women in the paint. Like, we cannot assume that.
22 women.
Like,
we don't.
Y'all ain't never had 22
But you
girlfriends.
also, right, but just to play the other side, you can't also say that you think that there's definitely gonna be either. Like maybe
We don't
they
know.
will.
I get it.
Man, we
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
right. Maybe
We
they
I
don't
get
know.
it, but
Maybe they
I
won't.
think,
We don't know.
my thing is, Cody, is that we are like, I think the fan base got to realize is that with the 22 that have came up, whether they're real or not, whether they're legitimate or not, he's getting suspended, guys. Like,
Right.
I don't.
He's going to get
I think
suspended.
that's not a thing that's just not going to disappear. There is no way in hell Deshaun Watson ain't missing games in 2022. The only reason why he didn't miss games in 2021 is because the Texans made the decision to sit this shit out. So the NFL didn't have to do anything. The moment that Deshaun Watson says, I'm ready to play, Roger is going to suspend his ass. Not a doubt in my mind.
If for nothing else, for being a distraction to the NFL.
Exactly. He ain't even got to be guilty at this point.
Didn't the Panthers send out some sweatshirts for the women?
I saw that on Twitter. I was like, that's kind of.
I know the Panthers didn't send out no sweatshirts
you gotta
for
read
the women saying
you gotta read the
women
room.
of the Panthers. Y'all ain't see that?
I saw it.
Yo,
I saw it.
I was like, I seen a couple people do that. Tweet it. I was like, ain't no way they did.
And by the way,
trying
like,
to soften it up.
No one condones. No one. Hold on, Dave. I want to say something because people in the chat room are saying I'm wrong for that. I'm wrong for that. Listen, I do not condone sexual assault. No man worth his weight would ever say that that's something that's okay. But what I am saying is, if you have a problem with that, the people that you need to be mad at are at 800 South Mint Street. Okay, it's not for the fans that are excited.
And they are.
For Deshaun Watson to want to be here. Another thing is, and I put this on Twitter today, I love how we pick and choose who's capable of being redeemed and forgiven and who isn't, right? So Michael Vick was forgiven. Peyton Manning was forgiven for his assault.
No.
Ben Roethlisberger was
Years.
forgiven for his stuff. And yeah, you're right. Michael Vick went to jail and then got another chance to play NFL football and to be an analyst at Fox Sports, which, by the way, he should have the right to do if you atone for the shit that you've done in the past, too. I'm saying if we're going to do it for everyone else, then there's no reason why people shouldn't at some point be able to do that same thing for Deshaun Watson.
Well, here's my point. The guys you just named had a punishment. There was some level of a punishment that happened. Michael Vick went to jail for 2 years. Ben Roethlisberger got suspended. Like, I think people fail to realize
they got to sit down and get some rehabilitation, man. So I think that's
and that's
it's going to happen with Deshaun too.
Yo, Deshaun,
he's going to get suspended.
Even if Deshaun didn't do it, he gonna get suspended from the distraction alone. Like, it's and that's what it boils down to for me.
Man, I mean, somebody put it to me this way, and I hate to take it here, but I was having a deep conversation about this outside of Twitter anywhere today, just having a real conversation with a real person that's been tracking it. They made some of the same points we made tonight about the soft stuff, the stuff that we can't really define with Deshaun and how it's going to impact the organization. But what they said is this: Carolina, may not be the best place for this brother to come. If if you're talking about football only, great player, he's going to upgrade the position, might win a few more games. We don't know. It's positive on the football field at the position. But in terms of how this fan base is, they basically had a guy come in, 11 years ago, in Cam Newton, that was criticized just by how he smiled. And let's keep it real. I'm keep it real funky. I hate it, Shad. I hope I ain't going across.
No, you good. Go ahead.
Deshaun's still a black quarterback, bro. And as much as you love him, Cody, as much as we all love his talent, even if he came out, whatever, he's going to be looked at with a little bit more scrutiny than Ben Roethlisberger ever got looked at. He's not in the most accommodating region of the country when it comes, like, he could be picture perfect and still have fault here.
But then, JJ, doesn't that mean that we should double down going hard for him?
I'm not saying I can't. I'm not in a position to go hard for him like I normally do. I'm just keeping it real with that.
None of these circumstances.
I'm just
There's a
telling
level
you.
of optics.
just-
There's a level of optics that
I'm just telling you.
I think Cody. I think like you're a Clemson fan too, and I'm not trying to knock it, but I'm just
Bro,
gonna
that
be.
really, I swear to God, that is, yeah. I mean, I want,
But
I'm a Clemson
I,
fan,
but I think
this
the
is
problem.
outside of
I think the
fandom,
problem
bro.
that's gonna lie is that there's gonna be a lane of this fan base that's gonna look at his accusations and the fact that he's a black man, and he's gonna get a level of heat that Cam never saw. And Cam was clean.
Cam was fairly clean. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And all he
and Cam
said
was
was, "I
clean.
think it's funny." He said, "I think it's funny." He lost endorsements off of that. I think it's funny to hear a woman talk about routes.
That's
Talk
true.
about routes.
He did.
Bruh,
Son,
this man
He
got
did.
cases from 22 women. You know what I'm saying? And this
Great
ain't
point.
me putting no charges on, but that's just like you said, the optics. You know what I'm saying? This ain't us. That ain't even the reason why I said I don't want Deshaun Watson. I have my personal opinion about that situation, but I don't even bring that up much. But like JJ was saying, it's about the optics, and you're gonna be in the South, man. And you a fan right now, but you gotta look at everybody else that whenever this man starts to mess up and we don't have that 11-6 season, man, he gonna get thrown under the bus, man.
Let Deshaun have
It's true.
a couple of bad turnover games where he throws
let
two
that
interceptions.
man,
Let that man
Gonna be
start
Teddy
slow,
and
slow
Darnold.
coming to 2022.
Yeah, it's
And I mean,
true. No,
yo,
But Cody,
it's
but
a
Cody-
level. It's a level.
hold on,
it's a
Dave.
level
Dave,
of
let
optics.
let JJ talk, man.
No, I
Go
said,
ahead.
but Cody, I mean, I'm saying this, bro. Like, I respect the fact that you're going hard for him, bro. Like, I know that you're a Clemson fan. I'm a partial Clemson fan. My kids are Clemson fans. I'm from upstate South Carolina. It ain't just about that. It's just I respect the fact that you're going hard for this brother right now. I think you're coming from a really good place, right?
Mhm.
And whatever people are saying to you in the chats or whatever, I don't even see that, but whatever they're saying to you, I mean, I don't
They
think it's
cussing
fair.
him out.
I don't think they really know where you're
I
trying
mean,
to come from with this. But what I'm saying to you is that when we have these platforms, when people send you, I mean, for me personally, I don't can speak for me, and I wish I could show them to you. I wish I can read the joint to you right here. I just was looking at the notes just so I could get it right. What was said to me recently. There was like Tepper. This ain't about Deshaun. This ain't about anybody else in Charlotte or in the Carolinas in the Panthers organization. Right now, there's people are turned off by David Tepper because they don't feel that he handled this with enough sensitivity. I'm gonna tell you right now, I have a little bit more respect for the Saints and if their pursuit of Deshaun is true. I have more respect for teams like the Saints and these guys that just came up within the last couple of days because at least they waited until there was some type of resolution before they let their desire be known. Tepper sent an investigator. He might have had right to believe he could be more vocal and outright about it. But that stuff that came out from Ian Rappaport along the way was all by design. And he was doing that so he could just make sure that Deshaun knew that he didn't forget about it, knew that he was still wanted here. And sometimes when you put yourself out in front like that publicly, before there's any resolution, I blame Tepper even for like the little discord we have within Twitter now, because he made us think about it when it was hard to talk about. He made us have dialogue about it when it was hard to talk about it. And now we're in a position where people have had to pick sides based on things that were said before we had any kind of resolution, right? And so Tepper did that because Tepper was selfish and he wanted what he wanted, and he wanted it through the storm, right? And so now it doesn't matter what the outcome is. It don't matter what is going on with Deshaun. Opinions were formulated because we had to discuss it because it was put in front of us to discuss. And so whatever happens going forward, if they land him, like I said, for football reasons, cool. You know, people who want to watch football, that's who we watch. We kind of stuck here, right? But at the end of the day, there's going to be a faction of the fan base that when anything goes wrong with Deshaun, they're gonna rake him over the coals. They're gonna rake Tepper over the coals. They're gonna say that we like the organization is horrible. You know, it's gonna be a bad look going all the way back to Jerry Richardson. We're gonna be hypocrites. And believe you me, all the people on the NFL media right now I'm just sharing the reports and the Panthers are aggressive, whatever. They're gonna have a field day on Carolina if it goes left, because they don't care about us, bro. I tell people that all the time. Like, we from here, right? We know that you got Charlotte, North Carolina. You got some other,
and that's it.
towns, but that's it in the Carolina.
You're
Don't
right.
do that. Don't do that.
Don't
Don't do that.
And
Don't
they
do
don't.
that.
Charlotte, and that's
That's
it.
it.
Bro,
That's it.
And
That's
they
all
don't.
it is.
And they don't respect us as a region, as a culture, as a people. They think we some hillbillies or whatever. I'm telling you, that's the national perception of where we from. I was in the military. I lived in Washington, D.C. I lived in, out in Texas. If you ask them about anything around the Carolina, the only thing they might know is Charlotte and Charleston. Bruh, I'm telling you, man, like the NFL will have a field day if something went awry. I seen a tweet today. I forget who tweeted it, but there's basically like, hey, look, it doesn't matter what Dave Tepper does with this Deshaun thing. He can actually get it wrong, and he can do this and he can do that because we need another Al Davis in the NFL.
Wow.
No, we can't be your social experiment. You know what I mean? Like sometimes
we'll
you have
be
to
all
make,
right.
Yeah, I saw that.
We'll be all right, man. We're used to how about this? We're used to defending Cam Newton. No, we're not going hard. Having to defend him against the F1.
Instead, we tired.
We exhausted.
No. Hey, man, we don't get tired. Look, y'all need to listen to some Kevin Gates, bro. Y'all need to put some Kevin Gates on, bro. We don't get tired, bro.
Man, I'm more of a Benny the Butcher type of guy.
Bro, we don't get tired, bro. We don't get tired, bro.
All right, so my bad.
Yeah. No, you good. Let's go ahead and shut. This is great conversation, and if it doesn't resolve, if we don't have a trade going down by tomorrow, we might have to come back up here and do it again. Oh, we can go on C3 podcast and do it on this show. How about that?
Man, I'm with you, bro. Hey, Cody. Hey, look, man. Last time I tried to get on y'all pod, man, y'all left me outside in the cold, man. I was in the weight room.
Hey, bro. Hey, I'm gonna get. Because you said that now, you're destined.
No. I don't want to come now.
No. You ain't got no choice, bro. No, you ain't got no choice. You coming on, bro.
Look, I know the vibes. Hey, look, I was out in the cold, bro. I was out in the cold. You let in.
Hey, everyone in the chat room. Hey, bro, everyone in the chat room saying you need your own show, man. So it's obvious we need to get you on more.
Nah, bro, I ain't got time, man. I'm here to support y'all, brothers, man. I love y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man. But before we close out, the wrestling fan in me will not end this without saying this. Rest in peace to Scott Hall.
Yeah,
some of you guys might know him as Razor Ramon from his WWE days. My man was on life support, and he finally passed away a few hours ago. I think he doesn't get enough credit. He's arguably the best guy that didn't get a world championship.
Yeah,
in the major title in the WCW.
Bro, the NWO Wolfpack back in the day, the Wolfpack, bro, that was my joint, man. I
cannot as a wrestling fan, and the thing is, I almost met this gentleman when I went to WrestleMania 30. Like I met DDP, I met Jake the Snake, but I couldn't meet Scott Hall, man. That was a guy I really wanted to meet because he was he was ridiculous during his heyday. And I can't leave an episode without talking about him and giving him his flowers because he was such an icon in the business. Doesn't get enough credit. He went through his demons. He got his way out of it.
And he recovered too, man, for a while.
Man. I watched his journey, man. Bro. Like it was tough.
Didn't have a documentary about him. I did see that documentary.
Hey, real talk. I was 30. I was in my 30s when I found out dude wasn't Cuban. I thought he was really Cuban.
Who don't even speak Spanish?
If we have a discussion about gimmicks that Vince McMahon from WWE
classic.
Razor Ramon is top 10. I don't give a damn what y'all say. If you talk about a gimmick that works.
Talking about Chico.
My man was out here. He made the toothpick most effective tool on television, bro. My man was tossing that toothpick out like there was no tomorrow. Had that Scarface game on lock, bro. But all right,
let's go ahead. Let's close this thing out because your boy is tired. All right, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We out. Peace out, y'all.